In a tense classroom at Jiangkang No. 2 High School, a chalkboard announces just 1 day left until the unified exam. The class teacher, Chenfin, gives final instructions. He tells students taking the liberal arts exam to prepare the IR stationery and gives a more serious reminder to those taking the martial arts exam to prepare the IR combat gear and weapons. Teacher Chen Fan then warns about the deadly risk of the martial arts college entrance exam. He strongly advises any student with an awakened ability below D level not to take it. From his seat, a student named Xu Jingming smirks, feeling the teacher's warning is directed at him. He thinks to himself that he has transmigrated into this world called Blue Star. It is technologically similar to his old one, but it is also inhabited by ferocious, bloodthirsty beasts. To counter this, some humans have awakened superpowers. In this world, people can awaken various abilities at age 16, which are rated on a scale from F to S. However, the majority of people only awaken skills between F and D as he considers his own power. A small flash of lightning appears. He reveals that his ability is an E-grade weak electricity, and he notes with disappointment that its power is only comparable to a simple stun baton. As Xu Jingming reflects, a blonde-haired classmate, Huangshan, taps on his desk. He mockingly asks if Xu Jingming still plans to take the martial arts exam, calling him E-grade trash who would only shame the school. Hang Tian suggests Xu Jingming should just choose liberal arts and offers him a future as a small clerk in his company. Before Xu Jingming can answer, a female classmate, Linking, stands up and tells Huangshan to mind his own business. Annoyed, Huangshan scoffs at her and promises to show her who is best during the exam. As he walks away, he glances back and adds a cruel remark, predicting Xu Jingming will die on the exam grounds. After Huangshan leaves, Lining Li turns to Xu Jingming with concern. She advises him to ignore Huangshan's words and suggests that switching to liberal arts might not be a bad option. Xu Jingming listens to her silently, his expression unreadable. Lost in thought, Xu Jingming looks at his Great Xia Unified Exam registration form. The form lists his E-level elemental ability. In the Great Xia Kingdom, education is split into liberal arts and martial arts. Those with low-level abilities can choose liberal arts for an ordinary life. The martial arts path is far more dangerous. Students must enter a designated area and fight fierce beasts to the death to pass. Only by surviving can one hope to enter an ability user university. There, with years of training, even an unranked person can become a truly powerful ability user. Xu Jingming understands why his teacher and Lin Qingli are worried. He knows they fear what might happen if he takes the exam. However, he also recognizes that he cannot escape the constant threat of the beasts. This thought triggers a painful memory of a beast tied from his past where he knelt as a child crying over the lifeless bodies of his parents. The memory strengthens his resolve. He doesn't want to be powerless again. With determination, he holds up his registration form and firmly declares that he will still choose the martial arts exam. As the sun sets, Xu Jingming is in a training hall practicing relentlessly with a long spear. He channels his electrical ability into the weapon, causing blue lightning to crackle along its length. With a cry, he executes a powerful swing. The intense training quickly leaves him drained. He lets out a large yawn, complaining about how tired he is, and then collapses onto the floor, his spear falling beside him. Lying on the ground, Xu Jingming thinks about his training. He has been practicing with the spear for 2 years. Despite his efforts, his proficiency is still at a beginner level. He bought a spear technique called Lightning Gale Break for 300,000, which he believes makes him a little stronger than other ordinary E-class awakened ones. As he lies there, a grim thought crosses his mind. He knows the death rate for students below D-class in the exam is increasing every year. This thought strengthens his resolve. To get into an awakened university, he must be prepared to fight with everything he has. He pushes himself up and approaches a machine, clenching his fist. As his hand nears the machine's panel, a blue holographic interface suddenly materializes, displaying "System Activating." Xu Jingming's eyes widen in shock as he tries to comprehend what is happening. The system's activation finishes, and a new message asks if he wants to claim the newbie gift package. Still on the floor, he realizes this could be the legendary cheat system for transmigrators. His shock turns into excitement. A wide grin spreads across his face as he wonders what the gift package contains. The system immediately reveals the contents, an S-rank super ability and 200 ability points. He is momentarily speechless. An S-rank ability is exceedingly rare. In a major country like Shiua, a person with one is instantly recruited by top universities and cultivated into a powerhouse. Xu Jingming is stunned by his unbelievable fortune. The revelation fills him with hope. He realizes that even though he was born as E-rank trash, this system gives him a chance to change his destiny. With a determined grin, he reaches out his hand, crackling with his old weak electricity, and says, "Claim," accepting the gift without hesitation. Immediately, 3 system windows appear. The newbie gift package is claimed, 200 ability points are credited, and the system begins distributing his new S-rank ability, Purple Cloud Thunder God's Lightning. The power surges directly into his heart. The process is incredibly painful. An immense power erupts from within him as violent purple lightning surges through his body, tearing his shirt. A progress bar appears, slowly climbing as the energy explodes outwards, shattering the interior of the room. The blast is so powerful it blows out the apartment window. The commotion is noticed on the street below. A woman points up at the strange energy and her child asks, "What is happening?" A young man frantically makes a phone call urging someone to call the fire department for the Shu family's child. Inside, Xu Jingming writhes in agony as the integration continues past 50%. On the streets, people look up as the sky turns dark and ominous. Above the apartment, a colossal dragon formed of crackling blue lightning materializes. The event attracts powerful individuals. A man in a high-rise wonders if a powerful beast is invading. Elsewhere, a military commander orders Jiang Cheng's 3rd Legion to high alert. Back at the apartment, the lightning dragon swirls in the sky before diving back down, funneling its immense energy into Xu Jingming's body. Xu Jingming lets out a final scream as the system's progress bar jumps to 100%. The light and pain fade, replaced by a simple message: "Ability transformation complete." The overwhelming energy subsides, leaving Xu Jingming in his devastated training room. He slowly clenches his fist, feeling the immense power he now commands. Potent blue and purple electricity crackles around his hand. A confident grin spreads across his face. He recognizes this S-rank ability is on a completely different level. He thinks his old ability was like an electric baton, but this new power feels strong enough to shatter a person with one strike. His excitement is lessened as he sees the destruction. The windows are shattered and the walls are cracked. He thinks the commotion was a bit too large and feels relieved he managed to control some of the energy. He then remembers the other part of his reward, 200 ability points. He wonders aloud what they are for as he touches the system interface. The system explains that ability points are obtained by killing fierce beasts and can be used to increase his levels and skills. A mischievous grin returns to his face. He expresses his delight at the simple cheat system and tells it to open the system panel. A detailed status screen appears displaying his new profile. His name, his level as an unranked awakened, his new S-rank ability, Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, and his 200 available ability points. With the unified exam just 1 day away, Xu Jingming's eyes glow. He knows he must use these 200 points wisely to maximize his combat power. Lightning crackles around his hand as he tells the system to allocate the points for him. Xu Jingming decided to spend his points carefully, reasoning that every ability ultimately stemmed from the body and the spirit. Strengthening those 2 attributes first seemed the most logical choice. As the system processed his allocation, his physique and spirit stats rose sharply. A surge of dark purple energy erupted around him, swirling like a storm. Slightly dazed, he marveled at the sensation of his vital energy and thoughts expanding. When he clenched his fist, he felt the raw power flowing within him. To test it, he threw a punch, and a vortex of blue and purple lightning burst forth, far beyond anything he had ever managed before. He stared at his crackling hand, realizing that by raising his basic attributes, his control over combat skills and abilities had also improved. The system panel confirmed his progress, physique at 141 and spirit at 160. The system explained that each ability point was equal to 0.2 units of vital or spirit energy. A confident grin spread across Su Jingming's face. With this level of strength, admission into an Awakener university seemed within reach. Still, he wondered how he compared to the 700,000 other candidates in the province, especially the prodigies trained since childhood. Determined to find out, he kicked his spear from the rubble, caught it, and slung it over his shoulder, resolving to test himself at the martial arts hall. Just as he prepared to leave, his apartment door was violently kicked open. 3 firefighters rushed in, ready to battle flames that did not exist. Su Jingming stood stunned. The lead firefighter, confused by the absence of fire, explained that they had received an emergency call reporting one here. Calmly, Su Jingming told them the commotion was caused by his ability training and assured them everything was fine. The firefighter, used to such incidents with awakened individuals, accepted his explanation. With a respectful glance, he radioed his team to withdraw, silently admiring the younger generation's strength. As the fire truck drove away, Su Jingming stepped outside in his school uniform, spear resting on his shoulder. A neighbor, Uncle Yang, called out with concern, asking if he was unharmed. Su Jingming reassured him, explaining that everything was under control. Seeing the spear, the neighbor praised his diligence, noting how impressive it was that he continued training even with the exam the next day. The narration explained the importance of martial arts halls in this world. To advance, awakeners had to cultivate both physique and spirit. Since most families could not afford private training rooms, these halls became essential. 2 major chains dominated the field: the elite but costly Brutal Bear Hall, favored by wealthy families, and the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, which offered free access to high school students. Su Jingming soon arrived at the bustling Thunder Hall. Inside, he spotted a familiar figure among the crowd, a girl with long black hair and sharp red eyes. It was his cousin, Kaijai. Surprised, he asked why she was there. Kaijai explained that she was simply accompanying a friend. Su Jingming nodded politely, excused himself, and headed toward the training rooms. As he walked away, Kaijai studied him thoughtfully, sensing something different about him. Her cheerful friend Xiaoya, however, was immediately struck by Su Jingming's appearance. Blushing, she whispered to Kaijai that he looked handsome and asked who he was. Kaijai introduced him as her cousin, a third-year student preparing for the martial arts exam. Xiaoya swooned, declaring he would make a great boyfriend. A male friend teased her for falling in love so easily, and she admitted it without hesitation. To bring her friend back to reality, Kaijai revealed that Su Jingming's awakened ability was ranked only at E class. Xiaoya's face fell and she sighed in disappointment, calling it a pity. The male friend smirked, remarking that it was still admirable for someone of E rank to attempt the martial arts exam. Kaijai, however, looked troubled, warning that courage alone meant little when the risks were so high. Changing the subject, she reminded the group that they had come to tour the hall, and Xiaoya agreed, noting she had spent all her years training at the expensive Brutal Bear Hall. A short rest before the exam seemed like a good idea. Meanwhile, Su Jingming entered an empty training room. Standing before a reinforced target, he gripped his spear. To his surprise, it felt lighter in his hands, though the weapon had not changed, his body clearly had. He realized the old spear might no longer suit him, but with the exam looming, he had no choice but to use it. He decided to test his raw physical strength first without lightning. Taking a deep breath, he thrust the spear forward. The strike smashed into the target center, leaving spiderweb cracks across its advanced surface. Above it, the digital display flashed 321. The memory metal equipment quickly began repairing itself. Su Jingming was astonished. His physical power had doubled. For context, the average unranked awakener could only manage around 100 calories. Encouraged, he prepared to test his newly awakened ability. His eyes glowed blue as arcs of purple and azure lightning surged across his body. With a powerful leap, he brought the spear down in a thunderous strike. Energy exploded on impact, and the display climbed to an incredible 3,021 calories. Su Jingming was elated. The standard output for a first-tier awakener was around 1,000. Yet, while still unranked, his power already rivaled that of a mid-tier first tier. But he wasn't finished. With lightning still crackling around him, he vowed that this was not his limit. Channeling all his strength, ability, and combat skills into one strike, he condensed the lightning into a brilliant sphere of energy along his spearhead. With a fierce shout of "break," he unleashed the attack. The resulting explosion of purple lightning shook the entire martial arts hall. In the main arena, students staggered, some crying out in alarm, thinking it was an earthquake. On another floor, Kaijai, Zayaoya, and their friends were nearly thrown off balance. The male friend, sensing the energy fluctuations, whispered that they were at the level of a true awakener. The group wondered aloud if a high school student had just broken through. Driven by curiosity, Kaijai urged them to investigate. Following the trail of energy, they soon came face to face with Su Jingaming as he exited the training room, his spear wrapped in cloth. Kaijai called out, surprised to see him. Calmly, he replied that he was heading home to prepare for the exam, hiding the overwhelming power he had just displayed. After he left, the male friend insisted the energy must have come from the room Su Jingaming had vacated. Cautiously, they peeked inside, only to be met with devastation. The advanced target had been obliterated, and the reinforced wall behind it was nothing but rubble. The once pristine training room now resembled a battlefield. Zayaoya stared wide-eyed at the devastation. She exclaimed that even the advanced memory metal target had been destroyed, something that should have required an unbelievably intense attack. She wondered aloud if any high school student in Jiangcheng could possibly be that powerful. The brown-haired boy dismissed the idea. Running his hand along the edge of the crater, he noted that the residual energy felt far too violent for a mere student. He speculated that it must have been a powerful second-order ability user who had mistakenly entered the student floor. Another friend quickly agreed, adding that even the geniuses from the provincial capital wouldn't have been capable of such destruction. So the thought of someone like that existing in their small city was impossible. Zayaoya, however, suggested another possibility. She pointed out that the only person they had seen nearby was Su Jingaming, and wondered aloud if he might be a hidden super genius. Her friends immediately mocked her, accusing her of reading too many novels. One of them laughed that Su Jingaming was a well-known E-class awakener, someone whose maximum output might barely reach 300 calories at best. A more logical theory, another friend argued, was that the mysterious powerhouse had simply left through a different corridor. At that point, the group turned to Kaijai, who had been silent the entire time. When asked for her thoughts, she simply replied, "Maybe." Stepping forward to examine the wreckage, she traced her hand along the shattered wall. The marks left behind looked unmistakably like they had been made by a long spear. The image of her cousin wielding his weapon flashed in her mind, and a suspicion began to form. She silently wondered whether Su Jingaming's decision to take the martial arts exam truly reflected his ability, or whether she had underestimated him all along. The next day dawned clear and bright, the long-awaited day of the martial arts exam. Dozens of buses rolled into the fortified examination grounds, unloading students armed with swords, spears, and other weapons. Su Jingaming arrived among them, walking with calm confidence, his spear slung casually over his shoulder. Crowds of nervous students gathered near the towering fences, staring at the vast ruined city inside with a mix of awe and dread. Some whispered complaints, noting that the beasts in past exams had been far weaker. Many believed this year's trial would be the hardest yet. Their fears were interrupted by an arrogant voice. A long-haired youth wielding a massive sword scoffed at their cowardice. He declared that anyone unable to handle a unicorn rhinoceros was worthless. His blunt words left the group silent. Nearby, Su Jingaming's best friend Liu Jai leaned closer and asked who the arrogant boy was. Su Jingaming identified him as Zhou Minjiang. Liu Jai explained further, Zhou Minjiang was already famous, a prodigy with a B-class ability who had advanced to First Order, something almost unheard of for a high school student. Su Jingaming glanced at the youth with a competitive glint in his eyes, silently wondering who between them was stronger. Moments later, a powerful voice commanded the students' attention. A scarred man in a military uniform stepped onto a vehicle and introduced himself as Commander Wang Heiyang, chief overseer of the exam. He laid out the rules in a stern tone. The test, he explained, would run for 12 hours from 9:00 a.m. to 9:00 p.m. The massive ruined city was divided into 4 zones: outer, central, inner, and core. Students would earn points by killing beasts, with higher-ranked creatures granting greater rewards. His expression hardened as he warned them of the dangers. The core area, he said, was like a bonus question intended only for the strongest. He urged the candidates to act within their limits and not throw away their lives chasing glory. Listening closely, Su Jingming reflected on his own capabilities. Before his recent power-up, he would have been confined to the outer zone at best. But now, brimming with energy and ambition, he was determined to push into the inner circle, perhaps even challenge the core. An announcement signaled the students to collect their exam kits. Su Jingming and Liu Jai approached their teacher, Chen Fan, who distributed tactical backpacks. Inside were energy bars, a drink, a medical kit, a smartwatch to track points, and a safety ball capable of generating a high-voltage barrier to repel beasts. Handing Su Jingming his gear, Chen Fan gave a final warning. His life mattered more than his score. Even if it meant using the safety ball to forfeit, survival came first. Su Jingming accepted the advice with gratitude. Just then, a familiar voice called his name. Lin Qing approached, smiling warmly, and invited him to join her team. Beside her stood their class president, Liu Chen, a C-class awakener who promised to protect Su Jingming during the exam. But before Su could respond, another student objected loudly. He argued that the exam was a serious competition, and taking along an E-rank like Su Jingming would only drag their team down. Another teammate agreed angrily, accusing Liu Chen of sabotaging their plan. Their harsh words made Liu Jai bristle with anger, but Su Jingming calmly held him back. With a polite smile, he declined Lin Qing and Liu Chen's offer, thanking them for their kindness but insisting he would go alone. Lin Qing reluctantly accepted, warning him to be careful. The objecting student smirked, suggesting they go find the powerful Huang Tian to team up with instead. He laughed mockingly as the group walked away. Su Jingming watched them leave with a faint smirk of his own. He was confident he could achieve a high score on his own strength. At last, the announcement rang out. The martial arts exam had officially begun. Drones swarmed into the skies, broadcasting the event live. The gates creaked open, and hundreds of students surged into the ruined city, shouting their goals. Among them were Kai Jai and her friends, a determined girl with a greatsword, and Zhou Menjiang, who used his wind ability to leap far ahead of the others. In contrast, Su Jingming remained calm. With his spear in hand, he broke into a steady run. The exam he had long awaited was finally here. Tapping his smartwatch, he checked the leaderboard. Zhou Menjiang was already in first place with 7 points, followed by 2 other competitors. Seeing his rival's name only sharpened Su Jingming's determination. While others battled in the safer outer areas, he chose a bolder path, heading straight for the dangerous core. As he advanced deeper into the ruined city, he suddenly froze. Before him lay the corpse of a fellow student, sprawled in a pool of blood. Beside the body was an unused safety ball, proof that the victim hadn't even had time to activate it. The sight shook Su Jingming. He realized the boy had been struck down in an instant. A chill passed over him as he acknowledged the harsh truth of the exam. Without his S-class ability, he could have shared the same fate. Kneeling, he used the fallen student's smartwatch to call for recovery. He thought grimly that every opportunity came with its risks. Then a noise stirred in the shadows. A clawed paw emerged from the rubble, followed by glowing purple eyes. A massive shadow cat stepped into the light, its gaze fixed on him. Su Jingming instantly understood. The beast had left the dead student's body behind as bait. The beast lunged at Su Jingming with terrifying speed, its shadowy claws extended. Despite the shadow cat's menacing pounce, Su Jingming remained perfectly calm. As the creature roared and slashed through the air, he stepped aside with a fluid, almost casual motion. The beast flew past him and landed gracefully, its glowing purple eyes locked on him once more. The shadow cat's reputation was well-earned. With its agile body, razor-sharp claws, and a bite force exceeding 1,000 kilograms, it was known as a true killer of novices. It let out a ferocious roar, attempting to intimidate Su Jingaming into submission. He, however, analyzed the threat with measured thought. Su Jingaming knew why these creatures were so dangerous. Fierce beasts radiated a terrifying aura capable of paralyzing prey with fear. It was common knowledge that most awakened people, when facing a beast for the first time, became helpless under this pressure. They could not exert even 30% of their strength and often stood frozen, waiting for death. He reflected on how wealthy families hired bodyguards to expose their children to such auras from a young age. It was a privilege he had never possessed. Now, facing his first true battle against a fierce beast, he steadied his grip on the spear. The shadow cat lunged again, its jaws wide open. Su Jingaming stood his ground, completely unaffected. Purple lightning crackled along the shaft of his weapon as he infused it with power. In one swift motion, he thrust forward. The spear's lightning-infused tip pierced straight through the beast's skull, killing it instantly. He looked down at the fallen creature with a thoughtful expression. The beast's aura had not affected him in the slightest. A moment later, a blue holographic window emerged from his smartwatch, confirming the kill. The display read, "Killed one unranked fierce beast, Shadow Cat, ability points +3. A note explained that fierce beasts were ranked from 1 to 9, while those below rank 1 were considered unranked, comparable to unranked awakened humans. Su Jingaming studied the map on his watch and considered the matter. Although killing beasts granted ability points, he was unimpressed by the small reward. 3 points for such a creature felt insignificant. Realizing he was immune to the intimidating aura of fierce beasts, he concluded there was little purpose in wasting time on the outskirts. He resolved to head for the dangerous central area without delay. On his way, he cut a bloody path through the outer region, effortlessly slaughtering shadow cats, iron-furred pigs, and wolf-like monsters. Each kill earned him 3 to 5 points, yet amid this efficiency he recognized a flaw. His S-rank ability was too powerful. It annihilated unranked beasts instantly, denying him the chance to gain proper combat experience. Moreover, the energy cost troubled him. Unlike his old E-rank ability that lasted for hours, the new S-rank drained his reserves quickly. He doubted he could maintain full strength for even an hour, while the exam itself lasted 12. He realized he could not afford reckless energy expenditure. Thus, Su Jingaming made a decision. He would rely on his spear techniques, conserving power while honing his skill. Just as this strategy formed in his mind, the ground trembled. A massive bipedal unicorn rhinoceros emerged, roaring as it tossed a wrecked car aside. Rather than retreat, Su Jingaming stood firm. The colossal beast charged, its horn aimed at him with devastating force. The impact hurled him backward, but his agility turned the setback into opportunity. Flipping midair, he landed atop the beast's back. Before the rhinoceros could react, his spear plunged deep into its skull. The creature collapsed with a thunderous crash. Su Jingaming steadied his breathing. To his surprise, the battle had ended faster than expected. Even such a powerful beast had not challenged him much. A thought struck him, perhaps his spear technique had broken through. Opening his system panel, he confirmed it. His spear skill had advanced to the intermediate stage and his points had risen to 256. He smiled at the discovery. Relying on the spear was clearly the most effective way to grow stronger. With curiosity, he used his accumulated points to push his spear mastery further. A torrent of advanced techniques and complex maneuvers surged into his mind, embedding themselves into his very muscles. Clutching his head, he marveled at the vast knowledge. When the influx ended, Su Jingaming gripped his spear tightly. Confidence surged through him. With a predatory smile, he declared that he was eager to test his new skills on a first-rank beast. Elsewhere, Tang Qi and her teammates moved cautiously through the outer area. Suddenly, she froze. In the distance, she thought she had glimpsed a familiar figure. Speaking hesitantly, she admitted she might have seen Su Jingming. One teammate scoffed, suggesting she was imagining things. He insisted it was impossible. Someone with Su Jingming's E-rank strength entering so deep into the exam zone would be committing suicide. Tang Chi, however, could not dismiss the feeling. Before she could dwell further, another teammate called urgently. They rushed forward to discover the colossal corpse of a unicorn rhinoceros. The blood was still fresh. The clean wound in its skull caught their attention immediately. It was the unmistakable mark of a spear. Tang Chi's mind raced. The silhouette she had seen, the timing, the weapon, it all pointed to one conclusion. When she voiced the possibility, another scoffed. He argued that only a C-rank awakened could kill such a beast alone. To settle the matter, one of them suggested checking the score rankings. Tang Chi activated her smartwatch. As the leaderboard appeared, her eyes widened. Su Jingming Second High School sat at 46th place with 256 points. "It really is him," she exclaimed. Her teammates were struck speechless. Disbelief clouded their faces. They refused to accept that the student they had once looked down on had broken into the top 50. Some muttered it must be someone with the same name, yet doubt gnawed at their certainty. Meanwhile, far away, officials and VIPs observed the exam on giant screens. One commented on the predictable dominance of First High School, whose students filled the top ranks. Zhou Minjiang, in particular, held first place with 412 points. Many praised him as their city's ace and speculated he might break into the provincial top 100, a feat long unachieved. Director Zhao Wenxian of the Education Bureau agreed proudly, praising Zhou Minjiang's brilliance. Turning to the principals of First and Third High, he lauded their schools, and they accepted humbly. When his gaze shifted to Principal Zhao of Second High, his tone became condescending. He remarked that their best student sat only in 18th place, urging them to work harder. Principal Zhao forced a nervous smile, bowing in agreement, though inside he seethed with frustration. Among the top 50, only 8 belonged to his school. As he mentally listed his students, he paused. The name Su Jingming struck him as unfamiliar. He asked his colleague about it. Teacher Chen Fan nearly dropped his jaw in shock. Wiping sweat from his brow, he recalled that Su Jingming was an E-rank awakened. It seemed absurd that the boy could be climbing the rankings. Yet as they debated, Su Jingming's ranking continued to soar. His spear swept through the central area, defeating ranked beasts, his efficiency stunning the officials. They soon realized he was an anomaly, a hidden talent who defied all prior expectations. Su Jingming soon reached the boundary of the central area, where danger levels rose dramatically. As he walked calmly through the ruined streets, the crunch of glass and debris echoed beneath his boots. He unwrapped an energy bar and took a measured bite, conserving strength while observing his surroundings. He noticed something peculiar. The number of beasts had decreased significantly. From his knowledge, this was because ranked fierce beasts possessed intelligence and a sense of territory. They patrolled their domains carefully, and fights between them were rare. This made them far deadlier than the unranked creatures of the outskirts. His eyes narrowed as he felt a presence approaching. His senses sharpened and his gaze turned cold. Su Jingming spoke quietly to himself. His true target had finally arrived. A moment later, a powerful striped beast burst forth from the wreckage of crushed cars. Its massive frame radiated danger, and the blade-like bones jutting from its forelimbs gleamed menacingly. It was a first-rank fierce beast, the Armblade Tiger. Rather than retreat, Su Jingming allowed himself a faint smile. He called it his good fortune to meet a first-rank opponent so soon. To him, this creature was the perfect test of the spear techniques he had just upgraded. The Armblade Tiger bared its fangs and lunged with terrifying speed, its forelimbs slashing downward. Su Jingming responded with calm precision. He spun his spear and deflected the claws, parrying the blow with the shaft. The force of the impact made the beast recoil, but Su Jingming remained unmoved. With mocking confidence, he remarked aloud that if this was the full strength of a first-rank beast, it was disappointing. Only a tiger king, he mused, might force him to exert real effort. Enraged by his taunt, the tiger's teal eyes glowed brighter. It reared up on its hind legs, towering above him, and unleashed a deafening roar that shook the ruins. Then, with blinding speed, its bladed claws came crashing down in a devastating strike. Su Jingming moved like lightning. He dodged the fatal blow, using the lamp post beside him as leverage. His body swung in a controlled arc, momentum carrying him to a perfect vantage for a counterattack. Landing gracefully, he prepared his next move. Deciding it was time to end the battle, he declared the beast's resistance futile. Channeling his advanced spear technique, he invoked Lightning Gale Break. A vortex of blue energy whirled around his weapon, crackling with destructive force. With a war cry, Su Jingming spun into motion. His spear became a blur, arcs of light slashing in rapid succession. The devastating technique tore through the armblade tiger's body. The beast gave one last agonized roar before collapsing heavily to the ground. Almost instantly, his smartwatch displayed a notification. First-rank beast Armblade Tiger defeated. Ability points plus 14. Su Jingming's eyes lit with satisfaction. The reward from a ranked beast was nearly double that of unranked kills. He realized then that for others, this exam hall was a place of terror. For him, however, it was a treasure trove for growth. Each beast was not only a source of points but a stepping stone toward mastery. With this revelation, his resolve hardened. He vowed to harvest as many points as possible by hunting stronger and stronger foes. Meanwhile, in the stands, the atmosphere grew tense as spectators and officials tracked the live rankings. The leaderboard updated, showing Su Jingming's score had climbed to 328, placing him 32nd. An official turned to teacher Chen Fan with curiosity, asking if this remarkable student was truly from his class. Suddenly, Chen Fan found himself the center of attention. Teachers and officials alike praised him, claiming his methods must be extraordinary to produce such talent. Flustered, Chen Fan bowed and humbly credited the student's own efforts. Before the conversation could continue, a shout rang out. Su Jingming's score had leapt again. The board now listed him at rank 25. Gasps filled the room. One official muttered in disbelief that Su Jingming had somehow gained 44 points in a single update. Director Zhao Wenxin's sharp mind did the calculation. Within the 4-second refresh interval, the boy must have slain either 5 peak unranked beasts or 3 low-grade first-rank ones. Principal Zhao paled, struggling to comprehend the impossibility. Director Zhao Wenxin, however, smiled with satisfaction. He declared that such performance had not been seen in years. Looking pointedly at Principal Zhao, he remarked that this student was clearly a rare prospect and questioned why he had never heard the name before. Principal Zhao stammered an excuse, admitting he had only just discovered the boy's identity himself. He quickly summoned teacher Chen Fan, demanding an explanation. Chen Fan stood nervously before the city's top officials. Sweat glistened on his forehead as he stammered the truth, that Su Jingming had awakened only an E-grade ability, weak electricity. The room fell silent in disbelief. Principal Zhao's voice trembled as he asked if Chen Fan was certain. Chen Fan insisted, explaining that he had even advised Su Jingming against participating in the exam because his ability ranked so low. Director Zhao Wenxin's curiosity deepened. For a mere E-rank to achieve this much, the boy had to possess extraordinary qualities beyond his awakening. He predicted that Su Jingming's momentum would soon push him into the top 10, at which point a dedicated camera drone would follow him. Only then would they uncover the truth. He added a stern warning: if Su Jingming was cheating, the consequences would be severe. As if on cue, the leaderboard updated again. Gasps erupted across the hall. Su Jingming had broken into the top 10, sitting at 9th place. Back inside the exam venue, Su Jingming checked his panel. His spear technique was now advanced, and his ability points had reached 312. Though his strength surged, he noted with some disappointment that he had not advanced beyond the awakened stage. He reasoned that true promotion required a cultivation method, something unavailable during the exam. Accepting this, he decided instead to enhance his attributes. He allocated 40 points to physique and 22 to spirit, feeling raw strength and sharper focus course through him. With renewed determination, he marched toward the entrance of the core area. The sight that greeted him was brutal. 9 armored tigers feasted on the carcass of a massive rhino-like beast. Even from a distance, he could sense their murderous intent. At the center of the pack lay the largest of them all, the armored Tiger King. Far from fear, Su Jingming felt excitement. He considered the pack a bounty of points waiting to be claimed. Just as he prepared to strike, his instincts alerted him. Without turning, he called out, demanding the hidden presence reveal itself. From behind a ruined wall, Zhou Minjiang emerged, his expression calm and his eyes sharp. He complimented Su Jingming on his keen perception, admitting he had not expected the mysterious new top 10 contender to be him. Su Jingming studied the young man. Recognizing him as the top-ranked student, he asked how Zhou Minjiang had known his identity. Zhou replied that he was familiar with every strong candidate capable of entering the core area. Since Su Jingming was an unknown name who had suddenly risen in rank, the deduction was obvious. Gesturing toward the tiger pack, Zhou explained that he had been watching them for some time. He noted that the Tiger King was a powerful mid-grade first-rank beast, and with its pack of 9, no single person could defeat it alone. He proposed cooperation. But Su Jingming's answer was blunt. "No need," he said. Zhou raised an eyebrow at the curt dismissal. Su Jingming, however, exuded unwavering confidence. He declared he was more than enough by himself. Without waiting for a reply, he stepped out of cover and into the open street. Instantly, the 9 armored tigers lifted their bloody maws, their eyes locking onto him. Tiger King, perched on its kill, roared to assert its dominance. Xu Jing's eyes narrowed as he observed his opponents. Noting that, as expected of a group led by a beast king, the tigers possessed enough intelligence for a simple battle formation with the stronger ones positioned in front. The pack growled menacingly, preparing to attack as one. One of the tigers broke from the pack, charged, and lunged at Su Jingming, roaring as it went. From his hiding spot, Zhou Minjiang watched with a mixture of disbelief and intrigue. He decided to observe the encounter, curious to see if Su Jingming was simply marching to his death, or if he possessed some special skill to back up his incredible confidence. Facing the charging beast, Su Jingming remained perfectly still, a calm aura surrounding him as he prepared his spear. In a blur of motion, he began to spin the weapon with blinding speed, the shaft becoming a nearly invisible circle as he gathered energy for his attack. He unleashed a devastatingly wide spinning sweep, sending a massive arc of force tearing through the air toward the attacking beasts. The attack connected with overwhelming power. In a single brutal motion, his spinning spear cut through several of the tigers at once, sending a spray of blood across the street. System notifications instantly popped up, confirming his kills and awarding ability points. The lifeless bodies of the tigers collapsed onto the blood-soaked pavement, the initial wave of the pack annihilated by his single powerful strike. The armored Tiger King was enraged by the slaughter of its pack. Su Jingming, however, looked at the carnage with a hint of dissatisfaction, remarking that it was a pity his physical strength was still lacking, as he had been unable to kill all the tigers in one blow. The remaining tigers, led by their enraged king, surrounded him, ready to avenge their fallen pack members. The Tiger King unleashed a powerful sonic attack meant to disorient its opponent. The force of the roar was so immense that it shattered the windows of nearby buildings, creating a rain of glass. Even Zhou Minjiang, watching from a safe distance, was affected by the sonic blast and clutched his head in pain. Xu Jingming, however, stood firm amidst the shattering glass. Completely unfazed, he recognized the Tiger King's attempt to intimidate him, and with a defiant look he declared that while the beast might scare others, it could not scare him. As the remaining tigers lunged at him from all sides, Xu Jingming met their charge with fluid grace and deadly precision. He parried one tiger's attack, then used the beast's own body as a springboard to launch himself into the air, avoiding the snapping jaws of another. The Tiger King, seeing an opening, charged forward, but Xu Jingming was ready. Still airborne, he positioned himself for a decisive strike. With a powerful overhead swing, he brought his spear down directly onto the Tiger King's head, the immense force cleaving through the beast's skull and killing it instantly. He landed gracefully as a system notification confirmed the kill of an upper-rank first-order armored tiger, awarding him a massive 20 ability points. Watching from his hiding spot, Zhou Minjiang was utterly dumbfounded. Sweating and wide-eyed, he could not believe what he had just witnessed. He muttered to himself that there was no way one person could have taken care of the entire pack, wondering what kind of monster Xu Jingming truly was. Xu Jingming, on the other hand, was ecstatic, marveling at the huge harvest of ability points he had earned from the Tiger Pack. He excitedly wondered how many points he could accumulate before the 12-hour exam was over, knowing that more points meant more power. He decided to hurry and find the next group of beasts to hunt. Before he could leave, Zhou Minjiang ran out from his hiding spot, demanding to know how Xu Jingming had managed to crush the tigers with just a long spear. He asked if his ability was a reinforcement type, which would explain his incredible physical prowess. Without stopping, Xu Jingming simply leaped away, calling back that he was a lightning type. Zhou Minjiang was left fuming, not believing the answer, and he clenched his fist in frustration, thinking Xu Jingming was being dismissive. A moment later, Zhou Minjiang realized that with so many new kills, Xu Jingming's score was likely to catch up to his. He quickly checked the leaderboard on his smartwatch. To his absolute horror, he saw that Xu Jingming had not just caught up, but completely surpassed him. The leaderboard now showed Xu Jingming in first place with 1,122 points, while he had been pushed down to second with 985. The realization left him screaming in frustration. Meanwhile, in the audience stands, the officials were erupting with excitement. Director Zhang Zheyu stood up and declared that Xu Jingming's high-level spearmanship confirmed he was a genuine genius. He clapped a beaming Principal Xiao Yao on the shoulder, announcing that with Xu Jingming representing them, Zheng Keng could definitely get into the provincial top 100. He promised accommodation for the second high school after the exam, much to the principal's tearful delight. Principal Xiao Yao was overcome with emotion, thinking what a huge surprise Xu Jingming had been, finally giving his school its day to shine. 3 hours later in the core zone, Zhou Minjiang walked through the streets looking utterly confused. He wondered aloud where all the fierce beasts had gone. A voice from behind him suggested that he would have to ask the #1 ranked student. He turned to see his cousin Tang Qi, along with other top-ranked students Wu Hao and Meng Dai. Tang Qi pointed to the empty streets, explaining that Xu Jingming had already killed all the beasts. She said that because they could not find any beasts to fight, they had to team up. Zhou Minjiang was left stunned, finding it impossible to believe one person could have cleared out the entire core zone. Tang Qi told Zhou Minjiang that she could tell he had not been a ranked ability user for very long. To prove her point, she told him to look at her cousin's current score. She activated her smartwatch and the leaderboard appeared. Zhou Minjiang's eyes went wide in disbelief as he saw the astronomical number next to Xu Jingming's name, 3,435 points, more than triple his own score. He could only stammer in shock. Tang Qi calmly explained the math. Subtracting the roughly 700 points Xu Jingming had gotten in the central zone, he had still earned over 2,500 points, meaning he must have single-handedly killed almost 200 fierce beasts in the core zone alone. A bead of sweat rolled down Zhou Minjiang's face as he realized the truth. It was not that Xu Jingming was afraid of someone stealing his kills. He had planned to monopolize the entire core zone from the beginning. Wu Hao explained their current situation. With only a few hours left, the remaining top students had formed a team. Their plan was to brave the innermost core zone, a place they knew was filled with upper-rank beasts and even a second-order beast king. He acknowledged that going in alone would be a death wish. Meng Dai then formally invited Zhou Minjiang to join their team. With no other option, he agreed, shouting, "Count me in." The scene shifted to a quiet, moonlit rooftop. Xu Jingming sat alone atop a massive pile of slain beast corpses, his spear planted beside him. His supplies were completely exhausted, and he knew the exam was nearing its end, but his hunt for power was not over. He decided he must go deeper to get more ability points. Knowing the innermost core zone held second-order fierce beasts, he resolved to strengthen his power one last time. He pulled up his system panel, revealing he had accumulated a staggering 2,413 ability points. With a mischievous grin, he decided to put his points into an upgrade. After channeling the new power, he stood over the corpse of a massive bear-like creature, letting out a breath of relief. He felt confident that with this final boost, he should be able to handle this year's combat exam finale. As the other top students sprinted toward the final area, their final sprint began. Deep within the innermost zone, a terrifying new beast emerged from the ruins. A massive white-furred, wolf-like creature with glowing red eyes and dangerous red crystals on its back. Just as Xu Jingming arrived on the scene, calm and ready for the final challenge, the team of top-ranked students also reached the innermost core zone. They immediately identified the massive, crystal-backed creature as a bloodthirsty savage bear. The beast showed its incredible power by smashing a wrecked car with a single swipe of its paw. The sight filled the team with dread. Zhou Minjiang exclaimed that they were in big trouble. Meng Dai explained that this rare beast had a hide as tough as E-grade alloy, which even missiles could not pierce. She added with terror that a single strike from its paw could kill them all instantly. Seeing the overwhelming odds, Tang Qi suggested they abandon the mission. Their situation was even more dire than they had thought, as they realized the compound was guarded not just by the Beast King, but also by a large pack of high-rank first-level beasts. One of them grimly stated that if they entered, they would likely be wiped out by the horde before the savage bear even moved. Faced with the impossible challenge, a team member immediately quit, saying there was no point in getting a high score if one died. Zhou Minjiang tried to stop him, angrily questioning the point of being handsome if he was just going to rush into a horde of beasts to die. The team's morale had completely shattered. Suddenly, Meng Dai pointed toward the compound, shouting for the others to look. They saw a lone figure entering the deadly area. Tang Qi's eyes widened as she recognized him. It was Xu Jingming, fearlessly walking into the heart of the beast horde. As he gracefully leaped into the compound, the others watched in disbelief. Zhou Minjiang complained about the difficult test, while another student panicked, crying out that Xu Jingming's entrance had startled the entire horde, which now turned its attention to him. Enraged by the intrusion, the entire horde of fierce beasts charged at him. Xu Jingming stood his ground in the center of the street, and in an instant he was completely engulfed by the snarling creatures. Watching from the rooftop, the other students were horrified. Tang Qi worried for her cousin, but Wu Hao remarked that he was too reckless. Tang Qi declared she had to go help him. Meng Dai grabbed her arm, trying to stop her, and Wu Hao called her crazy, saying it was a pointless death. Tang Qi desperately insisted that Jing Ming was her cousin and she could not just watch him die. Before she could act, a massive explosion of purple and blue lightning erupted from the center of the beast horde. The raw power created a blinding flash, forcing the students on the roof to shield their eyes. Zhou Minjiang stared, wondering aloud if this was the lightning superpower Xu Jingming had mentioned earlier. The lightning dissipated, revealing a scene of utter carnage. The entire horde of first-level beasts had been wiped out, their charred bodies scattered around a lone, unharmed figure. Xu Jingming stood in the devastation, purple lightning crackling around him. He acknowledged that his physical strength alone was not enough, so he had to use his superpower. A confident smile played on his lips as he felt the immense power of his S-grade ability. Having cleared the lesser threats, Xu Jingming turned his attention to the final challenge, the bloodthirsty savage bear standing over the corpses of its minions. The massive beast let out a deafening roar. Xu Jingming remained calm, analyzing his opponent. He noted the savage bear was massive and likely not agile, concluding that with his powerful thunder ability, it should be manageable. He then noticed the beast was not alone. It had several smaller but still dangerous minions. Realizing these creatures might be an annoyance, he decided there was only one thing to do. With a look of fierce determination, his eyes glowing, he declared that he would clear the area first. He burst into motion, his body enhanced by his S-grade lightning ability, moving with blinding speed as he blitzed through the remaining beasts. He effortlessly dispatched a high-rank shadow cat, his smartwatch confirming the kill and awarding him 13 points. With a confident grin, he marveled at the enhancement his superpower provided to his physique, but acknowledged he could not maintain the dangerous state for long. Knowing it was enough to clear the minions, he cut down the last of the lesser beasts with a powerful sweep of his spear, earning another 15 points for a high-rank unicorn rhino. With the area cleared, the final confrontation began. The savage bear roared in fury, slamming its massive paws into the ground and creating a shockwave that shattered the pavement. The beast charged, shaking the ground. Xu Jingming, wreathed in his lightning aura, met the charge head-on. With a powerful leap, he dodged the charge and swung his spear in a devastating arc, shattering one of the large red crystals on the beast's back. The battle continued in a blur, with Xu Jingming expertly dodging the bear's attacks and landing precise strikes, shattering more crystals and wounding the beast. His smartwatch continuously updated with points as he dismantled the Beast King's defenses. The savage bear roared, enraged as it watched its minions fall. Xu Jingming, wreathed in lightning, taunted the beast, asking if it was getting angry and promised to deal with it. As he charged the final rhino, the Bear King watched with cunning intelligence. Just as Xu Jingming was about to strike, the Bear King moved with unexpected speed, smashing its own minion to bits to intercept him. Xu Jingming was surprised, realizing the beast had anticipated his move. The Bear King clapped its paws together, sacrificing its last minion to create a devastating shockwave that obliterated the ground and nearby cars. The final rhino was torn apart in the explosion. However, the attack failed to harm its target. Xu Jingming, surrounded by his lightning aura, gracefully flipped through the air, landing safely and untouched by the explosion. With the battlefield cleared of lesser threats, only the two kings remained. Xu Jingming grinned fiercely, his body crackling with power. He declared that with no minions left, it was time to see if the beast's armor-like hide could withstand the force of his thunder. With a powerful thrust, Xu Jingming plunged his lightning-covered spear into the bloodthirsty savage bear's head. The impact created a huge explosion of purple energy that covered the drone following him, cutting its camera feed. The students on the rooftop were hit by the shockwave, shielding their faces from the blast. In the audience stands, the officials stared in stunned silence at the static-filled screen. Director Zhang Zheyu, shocked, turned to Principal Xiao Yao, yelling as he asked if he called the power they had just seen an E-class ability and accusing him of kidding. Another official, also amazed, remarked that Xu Jingming could instantly kill a high-tier rank 1 beast and fight a rank 2 boss, a feat even an A-class user would struggle with. Principal Xiao Yao, sweating and at a loss, could only guess it might be a rare ability mutation. Regardless, Director Zhang Zheyu laughed and said that after today, the great Xia nation would be shaken by Xu Jingming's name. Back on the battlefield, the result of Xu Jingming's attack was clear. The bloodthirsty savage bear was wounded with a deep gash on its head, but it was not defeated. The beast roared and swatted Xu Jingming with its paw, sending him flying. He was shocked that his powerful attack had only left a shallow wound. He landed hard on the ground, using his skills to recover and quickly analyzed the situation. He realized the savage bear's hide was resistant to blades and did not conduct electricity. He admitted to himself that with his current strength, it would be hard to kill the beast in one shot. The enraged savage bear began to gather dark energy around its body. Xu Jingming, sensing the immense power, could only look on in shock, saying, "What?" Dark energy gathered around the bloodthirsty savage bear as it powered up, rolling forward like a monstrous boulder. It smashed through everything, the ground seemingly buckling under its power. Xu Jingming leaped back onto debris as purple lightning crackled around him, readying himself. He was surprised the beast activated its berserk skill so quickly, recognizing the beast truly hated him. A note explained that berserk was a beast's counter skill, like a human combat technique. The enraged beast, now covered in dark energy, hunched over, let out a deafening roar, and then charged with greater speed and ferocity. Xu Jingming was impressed, remarking on the astonishing strength of a beast in its berserk state. He knew, however, that the berserk state had a cost. The beast lost its intelligence, acting purely on instinct. He quickly formed a new strategy. He must avoid its attacks and use his superior agility to keep it at a distance. He put his plan into action, dodging the beast's relentless attacks with incredible speed. He knew he must wait for the perfect chance to temporarily stop it. As the beast lunged, he channeled lightning into his spear and thrust it forward, unleashing a blast of energy that struck the beast's side. The attack froze the massive creature for a crucial second, its body shaking from the electric shock. This was the opening he needed. With the beast stunned, Xu Jingming's eyes glowed as he prepared his ultimate attack. He raised his hand, gathering a massive amount of purple and blue energy. He called on the full power of his S-rank ability, shouting, "Nine Heavens Divine Lightning, blast it!" A huge torrent of divine lightning came down from the sky, slamming into the bloodthirsty savage bear. The beast was engulfed in the blast, its roars drowned out by the crackling energy. When the light faded, the massive beast lay motionless, smoke rising from its charred body. Xu Jingming stood over it, a confident smile on his face as purple lightning danced around his fingertips. He remarked that after half a minute of his purple divine lightning, even the thickest defense could not withstand it. However, the battle was not over. The beast's eyes snapped open, glowing with a furious red light. With a final, desperate roar, it lunged, its massive jaws open for a final bite. The electrical power surging through its body caused a temporary paralysis, freezing it just inches from its target. Seeing his chance, Xu Jingming calmly stated, "It's time." He gathered all his remaining power into his spear, his eyes glowing. He channeled his ultimate technique, saying the words, "Lightning Gale Break." He unleashed the attack, a massive sphere of lightning that slammed into the paralyzed beast's open mouth. The explosion was immense, a vortex of power that tore through the beast from the inside, creating a huge crater in the street. The force of the blast finally brought the mighty second-order beast down for good. Its massive body collapsed onto the pavement, defeated. A system notification confirmed the kill and awarded him plus 124 ability points. Kneeling beside the Beast King, Xu Jingming breathed a sigh of relief, stating the final battle was over. He reflected that to deal with the second-order beast, he had upgraded his Lightning Gale technique and he was pleased with its power. A triumphant smile spread across his face. He noted that although the battle only lasted 2 minutes, it was the most exhilarating he had ever experienced. He then wondered how many points he would get after clearing out all the beasts in the core area. The exam ended as night fell. Back in the audience stands, the final results were displayed on the main screen and the crowd roared. In first place was Xu Jingming with an unbelievable score of 10,835 points. In a distant second was Zhou Minjiang with 1,103 points, followed by Wu Hao with 945. The officials were ecstatic. Director Zhang Zheyu, Principal Xiao Yao, and teacher Chen Fan leaped to their feet cheering. They celebrated that Xu Jingming not only broke their city's record but the entire Jiangnan province record. They called him a genius, recalling last year's provincial champion had only scored just over 8,000 points. With his score, they declared Xu Jingming had practically pre-booked this year's champion title. Standing amidst the destruction, Xu Jingming looked at the sky and noted there was not much time left. He reflected on his accomplishments with a confident smirk. He had killed all the fierce beasts in the inner circle and core area. With time left, he decided to head back to the central area to kill as many remaining beasts as he could. As he walked back, he passed the rooftop where the other top students were gathered. They stared in disbelief. Tang Qi was amazed her cousin had killed a Tier 2 Beast King, while Zhou Minjiang was bewildered, wondering why Xu Jingming was going back when he was already in first place. Meng Dai correctly guessed he was heading back to the central area. The horrifying realization dawned on her, and she wondered aloud if he was going back to clear out all the remaining beasts. The other students were speechless at his ambition. The reality hit them. Zhou Minjiang realized that with Xu Jingming's speed, he might actually do it. If they did not leave soon, they might not get a single point in the last hour. He declared their team-up was over and left first. The others quickly followed, scrambling to hunt for any remaining beasts. 1 hour later, an official announcement echoed across the exam venue. The 2037 Zhongqing Martial Arts College entrance examination had concluded. Killing beasts no longer counted, and all candidates were told to return. Throughout the venue, the remaining students reacted. A tired Tang Chi wiped sweat from her brow, sighing that it was finally over. Elsewhere, one student despaired over being one beast away from passing, while another celebrated just barely making it. In the midst of the carnage, Xu Jingming stood over his final kill. Looking unsatisfied, he wondered why the exam had to end so quickly, feeling he was not quite finished. As students exited the exam venue, they were greeted by guards, their faces a mix of exhaustion and relief. Outside, Tang Chi's friend Xiaoya was still reeling from Xu Jingming's power. She clung to Tang Chi, asking for the third time if Xu Jingming was really her cousin. Tang Chi, looking weary, confirmed he was. Xiaoya's crush had returned. With a blush, she begged Tang Chi for his contact information. Tang Chi reminded her that just yesterday she had not been interested. Xiaoya quickly said things were different now, that he was first in the exam, and continued to beg. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion. Someone shouted that Xu Jingming was coming out. A massive crowd of students swarmed the exit, desperate to see the new champion. Xu Jingming emerged from the gate, his expression calm and his spear on his shoulder. He was met with cheers and congratulations. Some jokingly asked him to give them 100 of his points. He smiled and waved, taking in the sudden fame as he walked toward the buses. In the crowd, Wu Hao and Zhou Minjiang looked on. Wu Hao remarked that Zhou Minjiang should have been the one in that position. But Zhou Minjiang humbly replied he was content with his score, admitting he never knew the second high school could produce such a monster. Before Xu Jingming could get on the bus, he was stopped by Principal Xiao Yao, who congratulated him and introduced him to Director Zhang Zheyu. The director informed Xu Jingming that he wanted to give him a ride himself. Xu Jingming looked at the chaotic crowd and realized it was for the best, knowing the bus ride would be full of questions. He got into a sleek black car with the officials, which sped away. Inside the car, Director Zhang Zheyu asked Xu Jingming which superpower university he wanted to attend. Xu Jingming admitted he had been so focused on his strength that he had not thought about it. The director assured him that with his results, any university would be within his reach. However, he advised that half of the country's high-level superpower users graduated from the top 3 universities and recommended he consider them. Director Zhang Zheyu detailed the top 3. First was Qingjing Superpower University, affiliated with the government. Graduates could directly enter the system and serve the country. Next was Madu Superpower University, known for its excellent resources and elite clubs. Finally, there was Jin City Superpower University, which had a long history and strong faculty. All 3 had top-tier cultivation methods that were not public. Xu Jingming listened intently. He understood awakened individuals needed these special methods to become true superpower users. He asked what made a top-tier cultivation method special. The director explained that with a beginner method, it would take 3 to 4 years to advance. With a top-tier method, it only took half a year. He reassured Xu Jingming that with his results, he would qualify for special admission from even the top 3 universities. Having dropped off the officials, Xu Jingming arrived back at his apartment late at night. The next day, he was in the shower, feeling refreshed. He checked his system panel and saw he had 2,534 ability points remaining, which he believed was enough for a superpower university. As he dried off, he wondered if there would be beast-killing competitions after he enrolled, deciding he would have to enter the wilderness to continue growing stronger. Meanwhile, his cousin Tang Chi arrived at his apartment with her mother, Aunt Su Qingwen. Tang Chi noticed the door was broken and decided it was a perfect chance to sneak in and surprise him. They entered, and Tang Chi cheerfully shouted a surprise greeting. Her timing was terrible. Xu Jingming, wearing only a towel, had just stepped out of the bathroom. He was shocked to see his aunt and cousin. His aunt, equally flustered, asked what he was doing while Tang Chi was left blushing and speechless. His aunt then saw the ruined apartment and angrily asked how it had gotten into such a mess. A flashback explained that after his parents passed away, his aunt had stayed with him, taking good care of him and giving him the warmth of a home. She fulfilled her guardian duties, even occasionally feeding him his favorite meal. After the initial shock, Xu Jingming sat with his aunt and cousin. His aunt, Aunt Su Qingwen, expressed her relief. She admitted she had been incredibly worried when she learned he was taking the martial arts exam. Now that she saw he was unharmed, she was relieved. She reassured him his score was not important. Xu Jingming was confused and asked if Tang Chi had not told her the results. Tang Chi winked, saying it was better if he told his mother himself. With a bashful smile, Xu Jingming told his aunt he had done quite well, scoring over 10,000 points. The news was so shocking his aunt spat out her drink. She coughed, asking him to repeat his score. Tang Chi confirmed it was true, telling her mother he had scored 11,124 points. His aunt was speechless. A moment later, she burst into tears of joy and pulled him into a tight hug, exclaiming that the Xu family finally had a successor and his parents in heaven must be so proud. Meanwhile, in a high-tech conference room, university recruiters were reviewing the exam results. A woman presented the data on Xu Jingming, noting his age, his supposed E-class ability, and his rank as an unranked awakener. One recruiter insisted they must recruit this student if the score was real. Another was skeptical, arguing that based on his rank, he could not have achieved such a high score. The debate continued, with some arguing his ability was at least a class or even S-class. Another recruiter scoffed, suggesting he must have cheated. Before the argument could escalate, a senior figure told them to stop. A woman with a commanding presence made a decision. She instructed the team to list Xu Jingming as an S-class special recruit for now. As for whether the score was genuine, she declared she would personally go to Jiang Cheng to investigate. The day after the exam, Xu Jingming got a notification on his phone that the Jiangnan Province martial arts exam rankings were out. He was informed that he placed first in the province with an astonishing score of 11,124 points. A look of surprised delight spread across his face as he sat down, celebrating his achievement as the top scholar of Jiangnan Province. News of his success quickly spread online, taking over the hot search topics. The public debated how a dark horse from Jiangking could become the provincial top scholar, questioning who Xu Jingming was and if an E-class individual could truly achieve such a score. Skeptics rejected the possibility, while others demanded to see the exam video for proof. In response to the doubts, an awards ceremony was held where Principal Xiao Yao addressed the media. A female reporter directly asked him to explain the authenticity of Xu Jingming's results. Principal Xiao Yao confidently stated that the school's website had uploaded Xu Jingming's exam video, confirming the fairness of the exam. As people watched the video, they were amazed, exclaiming that Xu Jingming had pierced a Tier 1 rhinoceros skull with a single shot, showing power stronger than a Tier 1 superhuman. They questioned how this was possible for someone with an E-class lightning ability. Principal Xiao Yao beamingly assured everyone the video proved the results were real and praised Xu Jingming as the first student from Jiangcheng to achieve top scholar status. Director Xiao Yao then presented a massive check for 1 million yuan to Xu Jingming, congratulating him. He announced this cash reward, along with superpower training methods, was a gift from the City Education Bureau. Additionally, the city government would provide an equivalent bonus and a luxury villa. Reporters eagerly captured the moment. Meanwhile, a commanding woman with 2 bodyguards stood by a car and remarked that while Jank had released the footage, it did not guarantee Xu Jingming had not used performance-enhancing drugs. She stated that the most crucial step was to confirm his superpower level. Back at the ceremony, Director Xiao Yao asked Teacher Chenfin why Xu Jingming, the day's protagonist, had not yet arrived. Teacher Chenfin smiled, explaining that he had just spoken with Xu Jingming, who said he was still training at the martial arts gym. The director laughed, finding it extraordinary that the new top scholar was still training after the exam. With Xu Jingming on his way, the scene shifted to a meeting room where Principal Xiao Yao was nervously serving tea to three intimidating figures whom he addressed as teachers. When one of them casually dismissed the tea, Principal Xiao Yao sweated, thinking about the powerful aura coming from these high-level superhumans, which made his heart tremble. The three individuals were recruiters from the nation's top superpower universities, and the air was tense as their immense spiritual pressures seemed ready to clash. The woman with short grayish-purple hair, Zhang Zheyu, the director of admissions for Madu Superpower University, broke the silence. She coyly asked her rivals who they were targeting. A woman in a light blue dress, Su Yun from Qingjing Superpower University, told Zhang Zheyu not to play dumb. She confidently declared that as long as his results were genuine, Qingjing University would have him. A man with long black hair, Wu Yuan from Jin City Superpower University, scoffed at her claim, stating that Jin City University would recruit him. As sparks of energy crackled between them, Zhang Zheyu thought to herself that recruiting top scholars always involved clashing with other universities. Just as the tension peaked, the door slid open and Xu Jingming entered with his spear over his shoulder. He calmly greeted the three powerful figures as teachers. His sudden arrival surprised the recruiters. Zhang Zheyu observed him with interest, noting his spirit was full and he was still carrying his weapon, a sign he had not relaxed his training. More importantly, she was impressed that he did not falter under the combined pressure of three high-level superhumans. Principal Xiao Yao formally introduced the recruiters to Xu Jingming. Director Zhang Zheyu from Madu University, Director Su Yun from Qingjing University, and Minister Wu Yuan from Jin City University. Director Zhang Zheyu spoke first, complimenting him on his stunning combat techniques in the exam video. However, she got straight to the point, asking why his superpower no longer seemed to be the E-class weak electricity and requested an explanation. Expecting this question, Xu Jingming gave a prepared answer. He calmly explained that before the exam, while training at home, he had been struck by natural lightning and his superpower had become much stronger. Wu Yuan and Su Yun immediately concluded that it sounded like a superpower mutation. Zhang Zheyu then suggested that Xu Jingming probably did not know the true level of his mutated superpower. She had brought a superpower detection instrument with her and invited him to try it. She presented a glowing circular device and told him to use his superpower on it. Xu Jingming placed his hand on the instrument and unleashed his power. A massive, violent surge of purple and white lightning erupted from him, covering the device. Su Yun was visibly shocked by the sheer force of the lightning. The detection device completed its scan, identifying the superpower as Purple Cloud Divine Thunder. But as it tried to assign a rating, it beeped erratically and cracks appeared. In a flash of golden light, the instrument overloaded and exploded into pieces. The blast sent arcs of electricity across the room, startling everyone. A shocked Principal Xiao Yao asked what was going on. Wu Yuan and Su Yun, however, looked thrilled. They stated the situation was confirmed. His power had overloaded the small device, which meant his ability level must be S-class at the very least. With Xu Jingming's S-class potential confirmed, Director Zhang Zheyu smiled, thinking they had bet on the right person this time. The confirmation immediately sparked a fierce bidding war. Wu Yuan from Jin City University was the first to make an offer, shouting that his university would give Xu Jingming a 4 million admission bonus, a full set of C-class equipment, and free access to all superpower training methods for all 4 years. Su Yun from Qingjing University scoffed at his offer. She turned to Xu Jingming with a charming smile and presented her own proposal, a 5 million admission bonus, and for 4 years, free access to all of their S-class superpower training methods and combat techniques. Xu Jingming was taken aback by her generous offer. Finally, Zhang Zheyu from Madu Superpower University made her move. She stated that Madu did not offer cash bonuses or equipment, but could match the other offers on cultivation methods. Then, she revealed her trump card, adding that they would also provide an S-class cultivation resource annually. The mention of an S-class resource left both Wu Yuan and Su Yun in complete shock. Unfamiliar with the term, Xu Jingming asked what an S-class cultivation resource was. Zhang Zheyu explained, asking if he had heard of dragon-type fierce beasts. She said they were creatures with innate power born at a high level of tier 4 or 5, far surpassing other beasts. She then revealed the stunning details. The S-class resources included the heart blood of an 8th-tier adult dragon-type fierce beast. After consuming this dragon blood, one's body would be greatly enhanced and their physical strength would become comparable to that of a dragon-type beast. She emphasized that every S-class resource was on the same level as this. The other recruiters were left speechless. Su Yun admitted that even she was tempted, remarking on Madu's wealth. Wu Yuan, flustered, pointed out that S-class resources were usually reserved for top students, and offering them to a freshman was unheard of. They both realized they could no longer compete. With all offers on the table, the 3 recruiters stood before Xu Jingming, telling him it was time to make his decision. With a confident, determined smile, Xu Jingming gave his answer without hesitation, declaring that he chose Madu Superpower University. With his choice made, Xu Jingming explained he had chosen Madu Superpower University, not just for their great offer, but because its combat training was the best in the university alliance, with many founders coming from Madu. He then bowed to Su Yun and Wu Yuan, thanking them for their offer. They both looked disappointed. Pleased with his decision, Director Zhang Zheyu created a glowing admission letter and gave it to Xu Jingming, welcoming him. She told him that while new students enrolled on September 1st as a special recruit, he could register early and would be given a place to stay. Eager to start, Xu Jingming asked if he could access the library's superpowered training methods and combat techniques ahead of time. Zhang Zheyu agreed without hesitation, adding that the school could provide him with a private study room. She handed him her contact card, telling him to get in touch when he arrived in Magic City. Holding his admission letter, Xu Jingming looked at the smiling director and said he could not wait to go and register. Sometime later, Xu Jingming stood at a train station with his luggage, looking excited as an announcement called for passengers of the G91 train to Magic City to begin boarding. At the station, his aunt Su Qingwen was emotional, wiping away tears as her husband Tang Din comforted her. He proudly said that their child had grown up and that when Xiaming left, he was going to soar. As Tang Qi looked on, her father reminded her it was time to start filling out her university choices. He suggested that since her cousin was going to Madu Superpower University, she should also try to choose a university there. Aunt Su Qingwen agreed, adding it would be good for them to look out for each other. A flustered Tang Qi quietly agreed. On the train, with 6 hours left, Xu Jingming was already studying. He thought to himself that the most important reward from the exam was the Universal C training method. Like superpowers, training methods also had different ratings: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top tier. A graph showed that the higher the level of the method, the faster the training speed and the greater the power gained. While on the train, Xu Jingming focused on studying the Universal C training method. He identified it as an intermediate-level technique and noted that with his spiritual power of 180, it took him half a day to memorize it. He recalled that by following the method, he was able to sense the special energy in the world on his first day of practice. This unlocked a new option on his system panel, showing a plus sign next to his level, meaning he could now advance from an awakened to a superpower user. However, he decided not to level up yet. He remembered the training manual had said the higher the level of the training method used for the breakthrough, the greater the benefits. Knowing he would soon have access to top-tier methods at the university, he resolved not to waste this chance by using an intermediate one. Upon arriving in Magic City, Xu Jingming was in awe of the university campus. From the car, he saw the school grounds were several hundred meters wide. He was greeted by Director Zhang Zheyu, who pulled up in a red sports car and welcomed him, telling him to get in so she could take him to handle admission procedures. As they drove through the stunning campus lined with cherry blossom trees, Director Zhang Zheyu boasted about its size, explaining it covered 40,000 mu. She added that even visiting students could not tour the entire campus in one day. Xu Jingming was impressed, remarking that seeing it was better than hearing about it. After a quick registration, Director Zhang Zheyu handed him his new student ID, an all-in-one card he could use to access the dorms. As they approached his new accommodation, Xu Jingming thought about his past life, where he had seen dorms ranging from 4-person rooms to 3-bedroom apartments. However, nothing prepared him for what he saw next. He stared in shock at his new dormitory, a magnificent, luxurious villa. Director Zhang Zheyu explained that every student at Madu lived in a villa, with the luxury determined by their scores. As the provincial top scorer, Xu Jingming got the most luxurious model with an area of over 800 square meters. She informed him the villa was for 2 people with an upper and lower floor, so he and his future roommate would each have an entire floor. Xu Jingming thought that having a roommate was not bad and was better than being alone. He reflected on his life as an orphan, and admitted he still preferred the warm feeling of a communal 4-person dorm. As he followed the director up the steps inside the villa, Director Zhang Zheyu sat down with Xu Jingming and informed him that she would now explain a few important things about the university. She highlighted 2 main points: the credit system and the mentor system. She began by explaining that at Madu, credits were everything. They were used for all transactions, from buying meals to powerful equipment. She clarified that 1 credit was roughly equivalent to 10,000 Daxia currency. Director Zhang Zheyu explained there were many ways to get credits, one of which was a fixed amount given each year based on a student's rating. As an S-class student, Xu Jingming got 100 credits for the year. To show him, she summoned a small spherical robot, calling out EVA. The device floated and projected a message confirming Xu Jingming's credit balance was 100. The director introduced the robot as Eva, the AI equipped in every dorm. She explained Eva's main body was the school's central AI and the dorm units were subunits. However, she noted that even a subunit was a level 4 AI capable of assisting with daily life. Xu Jingming was stunned, realizing the AI technology on Blue Star was far more advanced than in his previous life. With the first point covered, Director Zhang Zheyu moved on to the mentor system. She explained every student could choose a mentor they admired and ask for guidance, though the mentor must agree. Xu Jingming was intrigued, questioning if he could get one-on-one guidance. As a freshman, she confirmed this, adding that all mentors at the university were high-level superpowered individuals. Most had their own original combat techniques and training methods, which they did not pass on to outsiders. These secret techniques could only be learned after becoming their official disciple. Given Xu Jingming's abilities, she informed him the university had 4 mentors who specialized in the lightning element. Her top recommendation was Yang Zhenchen, the dean of the Weaponry Academy. At her command, Eva projected a profile of the dean. It revealed Yang Zhenchen was a 52-year-old Tier 7 high-rank superpowered individual with an A-rank lightning superpower. He was a master of various weapons, especially the spear, earning him the title Thunder Spear. The profile also noted he once fought an 8th-tier demonic whale for 3 days and nights before killing it alone. The director also provided information on the other 3 potential mentors, but told Xu Jingming the final choice was his. After reviewing the options, a confident smile spread across Xu Jingming's face. He noted Dean Yang Zhenchen was not only a lightning user but also a spear specialist, concluding he was the best choice for his mentor. Having made his choice, Xu Jingming headed to the mentor's residential area, a serene compound of traditional buildings in a lush forest. As he arrived at the grand gate of Dean Yang Zhenchen's residence, he thought that a mentor's home was far more high-class than the student villas. Before he could proceed, a young man with brown hair leaning against a stone lion asked if Xu Jingming was also there to seek mentorship. The young man looked surprised when he realized Xu Jingming was still an awakened, guessing he must be a specially recruited student. After Xu Jingming confirmed this, the other student remarked that in previous years, special recruits were typically mid to high-rank Tier 1 individuals. The student introduced himself as Tanaming Yang, a junior from the Weaponry Academy. Xu Jingming introduced himself as a freshman who had just registered. Tan seemed impressed, commenting that Xu Jingming was quick to seek mentorship. He explained that most freshmen only learned about this after the freshman competition, which interested Xu Jingming. Tan explained that the freshman competition was a university tradition held a few days after registration. All teachers watched, and students who performed well were sought after by universities, with some even being chosen directly by mentors. He clarified that while it was not impossible for a special recruit like Xu Jingming to seek mentorship early, trying to become the dean's disciple right after enrolling was as difficult as winning the lottery. Xu Jingming politely thanked him for the explanation and asked if Tan was also there to seek mentorship from teacher Yang. With a sigh, Tan confirmed this, revealing he had made several trips over the past 6 months but had always been turned away. He was about to give up but decided to try one last time. Just as he finished speaking, the large doors opened and a middle-aged man, likely a butler, appeared, startling Tan. The butler's expression softened as he greeted them and informed them that teacher Yang was waiting inside, inviting them to follow him. Tan was taken aback by the warm reception, wondering if the fact that the dean was waiting inside meant he might finally have a chance. The butler led them into a room where they were brought before 2 men. Xu Jingming immediately felt an incredibly powerful presence from the older man who had a commanding posture, a full gray beard and sharp eyes. He recognized him as the dean of the Weaponry Academy, Yang Zhenchen. A younger man with long hair stood beside him. Dean Yang Zhenchen addressed Xu Jingming directly, stating that he must be the one director Zhang Zheyu had told him about. Ignoring Tan completely, he told Xu Jingming to follow him to the training grounds. In a traditional training room filled with weapons, Dean Yang Zhenchen told Xu Jingming that he had seen his martial arts exam video and praised his combat skills and marksmanship. However, before deciding, the dean insisted on seeing his S-rank ability, the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, with his own eyes. Xu Jingming calmly agreed. As the dean observed, Xu Jingming channeled his power and arcs of purple lightning crackled around his arms. He then unleashed a massive, violent burst of purple and white energy that filled the room, the raw power crackling with immense force. Dean Yang Zhenchen was visibly impressed, a grin on his face as he recognized the S-rank ability. He mentally compared it to his own A-rank ability, acknowledging that the gap between A-rank and S-rank power was impossible to bridge. He saw immense potential in the student, thinking that if Xu Jingming honed his skills, his future could rival his own. With the demonstration done, the dean stated that with Xu Jingming's potential, becoming his disciple was not an issue. However, he offered a serious warning. He explained that he had made many friends and enemies and could not guarantee his enemies would not target his disciples. He asked if Xu Jingming was still willing to accept him as a master, knowing the risks. Without hesitation, Xu Jingming dropped to his knees in a formal sign of respect. With a wide, determined grin, he declared that he was willing. He passionately explained that he admired high-level ability users who had grown strong through bloody struggles. He believed the number of enemies his teacher had defeated was proof of his immense combat ability. Pleased with this answer, Dean Yang Zhenchen laughed heartily and formally accepted him. He declared that from that day forward, Xu Jingming was his 32nd disciple and his very first S-rank disciple. Telling him to rise, the dean presented Xu Jingming with his first gifts: a top-tier ability training method called the Extreme Ability Training Method, and a body-tempering combat technique called Thunder Indestructible Body, both of which he had created. Xu Jingming was stunned by the value of the gifts, realizing a body-tempering combat technique that could strengthen his body was far more precious than an ordinary one. The dean explained that while the ability training method was one of only 3 top-tier methods in the school, the real highlight was the Thunder Indestructible Body technique, the culmination of his life's work. He added that the technique had been certified by 2 major martial arts halls and had been officially rated as S-rank. The revelation left Xu Jingming utterly speechless, shocked to learn of an S-rank combat technique. Combat techniques, like abilities, had their own ratings from F to SSS. The higher the rank, the more difficult it was to master, but the more powerful it would be. Xu Jingming reflected on this, realizing the terrifying extent of his new master's talent. He knew that most 7th-level masters were exceptional if they could create an A-rank combat technique. So for his master to have created an S-rank technique, his martial arts talent must be terrifyingly high. Dean Yang Genshin provided more details about his S-rank technique. He explained that the Thunder Indestructible body was only for lightning element users and had 13 levels. With each level, the user's body underwent a transformation. However, he clarified a crucial requirement. To begin cultivating it, one must first advance from an awakened to a true ability user. He then gave Xu Jingming his first task. He instructed him to use the extreme ability training method to achieve his breakthrough. Once Xu Jingming had advanced, he was to return, and the dean would personally help him build the foundation for the Thunder Indestructible body. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Xu Jingming bowed deeply, thinking how much better it was to have a mentor's guidance. The dean then shared a personal motivation, revealing he had only cultivated the technique to the 10th level. He looked at Xu Jingming with hope, stating that if he was unable to reach the peak of a martial saint, then Xu Jingming would be the greatest hope to prove the technique's potential. His eyes gleamed as he revealed his ultimate guess. If one could cultivate the technique to its final level, their body could achieve a state of being eternal and indestructible. As Xu Jingming left his master's residence, waving goodbye to the butler, he found Tan Minjiang sitting dejectedly on the steps outside, holding his head in despair. Xu Jingming approached him and asked what was wrong. It was revealed that Tan Minjiang's attempt to become a disciple had failed. He had had to face a test against one of the dean's senior disciples, the condition being to defeat the senior while the latter used only 1/10 of his combat power, a task Tan Minjiang had found hopeless, leaving him beaten. Now sitting on the steps, Tan Minjiang looked up at Xu Jingming, assuming he had also failed. He remarked that getting into Dean Yang Genshin's tutelage was not easy and asked if Xu Jingming needed him to pass on some experience from his failures. Unfazed, Xu Jingming calmly declined, simply stating that he had already passed. The words hit Tan Minjiang like a physical blow. His bruised face contorted in utter disbelief. He exclaimed that he had never heard of a dean-level mentor accepting a disciple before the annual freshman competition. As Xu Jingming calmly walked away, a bewildered Tan Minjiang stared after him, trying to understand what had just happened. With a new objective, Xu Jingming returned to his dormitory's training room. Sitting cross-legged, he began to cultivate using the extreme ability training method from his new master. As he meditated, he was amazed by the effectiveness of the top-tier technique, noting the amount of energy he could sense was far greater than with the intermediate-level method. A confident smirk appeared on his face. Knowing he had already mastered the principles, he decided there was no need to practice it step by step. Instead, he would use his cheat system to advance directly. He accessed his system panel and commanded it to use his ability points to increase his level. The effect was immediate and intense. A surge of energy coursed through him, causing him to grunt in pain. He clutched his clothes as raw energy surged through his veins. The power erupted from his body in a massive blast of light and force that shook the room. A moment later, the energy subsided. Breathing heavily, Xu Jingming pushed himself up, thinking he had successfully broken through. A notification confirmed his new status as a first-tier lower-rank ability user. He examined his hand where stable, powerful blue lightning now crackled with ease. As he tested his control, a much larger and more potent torrent of lightning flowed from his hand, a clear sign of his increased power. Clenching his fist, he marveled at the result. He could feel the power in his body had increased by at least 4 or 5 times. He confidently thought that if he were to face the second-tier bloodthirsty Tyrant Bear again, his thunder ability alone would be enough to defeat it. He pulled up his system panel to check his new stats and understood why all ability users wanted higher-level cultivation methods. He calculated that if he had used the intermediate method, his vitality and spirit would have only increased by 30 or 40 points. But now, using the top-tier method, they had increased by almost 100 points in one go. The gap in results was undeniable. He noted the advancement only cost him 300 ability points, and he decided to save the rest. He knew that learning a powerful combat technique like the Thunder Indestructible Body was even more important, and as an S-rank technique, he expected the consumption of ability points to master it would be incredibly high. With his breakthrough complete, Xu Jingming was ready for the next stage. A new thought entered his mind. Since he was at the university, perhaps it was time to visit the school's library. The next day, Xu Jingming returned to his master's residence. Dean Yang Genshin was utterly astonished to see him, questioning how he could have advanced so quickly. The dean paced, remarking that in his 20 years of teaching he had seen countless geniuses, but even the best took a significant amount of time to transform into an ability user. He noted it had been less than 24 hours since Xu Jingming had received the manual. With a bashful smile, Xu Jingming admitted that perhaps the only thing he could be proud of was his advancement speed. He added that when he tried to begin cultivating the Thunder Indestructible Body, he found even the introductory part to be a challenge. The dean listened and explained the process. Forging the foundation involved using the blood of a lightning element beast as a guide, combined with one's own lightning to temper the muscles and bones. He emphasized a critical point. The final strength of the technique was related to the grade of the beast's blood used. Now that Xu Jingming had advanced, the dean declared he would help him forge the foundation that very day. He revealed that high-level lightning beasts were rare, and his original plan was to use the blood of a 7th-tier storm giant bear. However, after learning Xu Jingming was entitled to one S-rank resource every year, he made a special request. He decided to combine the resources and pleaded with the university's principal to grant Xu Jingming an even more precious SS-rank resource. With that, he presented Xu Jingming with a small vial containing a glowing red liquid, the essence blood of a ferocious 8th-tier beast, the Thunder Tyrannosaurus. Xu Jingming was deeply moved that his new teacher and the principal would go to such lengths for him. He accepted the vial and vowed to repay this kindness many times over. Pleased, the dean said they should begin immediately. They moved to a training room where a shirtless Xu Jingming knelt. The dean uncorked the vial and poured the potent glowing red blood onto Xu Jingming's head and back. Xu Jingming gritted his teeth, groaning as the substance made contact. The dean warned him to bear with it, explaining the blood was highly toxic to low-level users and the intense pain was expected. Next, the dean prepared to use his own power to help. He told Xu Jingming he would now use his A-rank Windfire True Thunder to forge the foundation, adding that the amount Xu Jingming could absorb was up to him. The dean unleashed his power, a torrent of violent red lightning, and directed it into Xu Jingming's body. The energy surged through him, causing glowing red patterns to spread across his back and chest. The process was excruciating, and Xu Jingming threw his head back, letting out a raw scream of agony as his body was forcibly tempered by the immense power. 5 days into the tempering process, the senior disciple Liu Ming was having tea with the dean's butler Uncle Fu. Liu Ming remarked on how resilient the new junior was to have lasted for 5 days. He reflected with some jealousy that he had only lasted 2 days during his own tempering, which had used weaker 7th-tier beast blood. He admitted Xu Jingming's performance deserved the 8th-tier dragon-type beast's essence blood. Liu Ming added that with an S-rank lightning ability, he was looking forward to seeing the result of his new junior's Thunder Indestructible Body. Suddenly, a loud crash from the training room startled them. Liu Ming rushed upstairs, wondering if his junior's foundation forging was complete. He cautiously peeked through the door and was met with a terrifying sight. Xu Jingming stood shirtless and splattered with blood, his eyes glowing red. A chaotic aura of dark energy and blue lightning surrounded him, and he appeared to have lost control, looking more like a beast than a human. Liu Ming was frozen in fear, sensing a threatening aura from Xu Jingming like that of a top-tier ferocious beast, which made him shudder. Lost in this primal state, Xu Jingming saw Liu Ming in the doorway and lunged forward to attack. However, before he could strike, the commanding voice of Dean Yang Genshin roared, shouting for Jing Ming to wake up. The Dean's shout broke through the bloodlust, and Xu Jingming halted his attack just inches from his senior. Covered in sweat, a dazed Xu Jingming asked his teacher what had happened and why he had felt an overwhelming urge to destroy things. The Dean explained that the essence blood of the Thunder Tyrannosaurus had likely influenced his mind. He pointed out that the beast was famous for its ferocity, and because Xu Jingming's absorption rate and compatibility were so high, he had experienced this dangerous side effect. The Dean reassured him, telling him not to worry. As long as he avoided intense emotional changes, he would be fine, and the side effects would gradually disappear as his strength increased. A wave of relief washed over Xu Jingming. He looked down at his hands, expressing his fear of being controlled by his emotions. With the crisis averted, Dean Yang Genshin's tone changed to delight. He told a confused Xu Jingming to cheer up, announcing the forging was a perfect success with an incredible 98% absorption rate. He proudly explained that among the disciples who had cultivated the Thunder indestructible body, the highest rate ever recorded was only 92%. With this, Xu Jingming had broken a long-standing record. His senior disciple, Liu Ming, approached with a congratulatory smile. He told his new junior that with the foundation successfully forged, his future in martial arts was now smooth sailing. The dean formally introduced him as senior disciple Liu Ming, an ability user at the peak of the 3rd tier, and told Xu Jingming to ask Liu Ming for help with any future cultivation questions. Xu Jingming greeted his senior, who promptly pulled out his phone. Liu Ming explained that since he had not prepared a gift, he would transfer some credits instead. Xu Jingming was shocked when a notification on his phone said he had received 200 credits, exclaiming that it was too much. He quickly calculated the gift was worth 2 million Great Sha coins. The dean dismissed his concern, stating that 200 credits was not a large sum for Liu Ming and that it was a senior's duty to care for his juniors. He added that when Xu Jingming had his own juniors, he would also need to prepare gifts, a lesson Xu Jingming humbly accepted. With the training complete, the dean told Xu Jingming that after 5 days without food or water, he should go back and rest. He gave him his next instructions: come back the following morning to learn fist and spear techniques with senior Liu Ming. Xu Jingming gratefully thanked his teacher and left. Back at his luxurious villa, Xu Jingming found a young man with spiky white hair and red eyes on the couch focused on a video game. The young man turned, realizing he was not alone, and greeted Xu Jingming, guessing he must be his new roommate. He introduced himself as Liu Wentao. When Xu Jingming introduced himself, Liu Wentao's eyes widened. He excitedly pointed and exclaimed that he was the top scorer from Jiangnan province. When Xu Jingming asked how he knew, Liu Wentao proudly declared his nickname was Mr. Know-it-all, as he knew about most freshmen. He admitted he had not specifically looked up Xu Jingming, but the stir he had caused was so big he could not help but hear about him. He marveled that the legendary Dark Horse top scorer was his new roommate. Putting a friendly arm around his shoulder, he started bombarding Xu Jingming with questions, asking if he was really from Jung, if he was truly just an awakened during the exam, and commenting that his ability did not look like it was only E rank. Despite the endless questions, Xu Jingming found he liked the friendly chatterbox. He reflected that he had always hated loneliness. Flashbacks revealed his past growing up in an orphanage without a sense of belonging. School was better as he had friends. His happiest memories were from his college days, joking around and playing games with roommates. He recalled getting his master's and PhD, never imagining that after drinking too much at his graduation, he would wake up in a different world. He thought about how he did not expect to still be an orphan after transmigrating. But with a roommate like Liu Wentao, he felt he would not be lonely. Meanwhile, Liu Wentao proudly boasted that he was a top student from Sichuan province with an A-rank ability and was currently a first-tier middle-rank ability user. He declared his ambition to major in college tactics and command a military region to slaughter all the ferocious beasts on Blue Star. Changing the subject, Xu Jingming mentioned he was heading to the martial arts hall. Intrigued, Liu Wentao decided to join him, admitting he had not visited the university's hall yet. They arrived at the impressive Thunder Martial Arts Hall Magical University branch. Inside, they saw a lively and chaotic scene with students training and showing off their powers. The AI Eva appeared and explained they were in the public training room, which could hold 300 people. The hall was constructed with C-rank alloy mixed with memory metal, making it durable enough to withstand damage. Eva also pointed out private training rooms, but Xu Jingming decided the public area was fine. Liu Wentao got caught up in the competitive atmosphere, shouting with excitement and pointing out an A-rank enhanced werewolf user. Xu Jingming dryly commented that his roommate was not being quiet himself. Xu Jingming then asked Eva about the large numbered pillars in the center of the room. Eva explained they were punch power challenge boards. There were 5 leaderboards, one for each of the 5 tiers of ability users. She informed them that if they got into the top 3,000 on their boards, they would receive a 50 credit reward. Liu Wentao eagerly accepted the challenge, thinking it sounded easy. Eva clarified there were just over 4,000 students in the university. Eager for the reward, Liu Wentao decided to try. Eva instructed him to swipe his student ID to start, adding the crucial rule that abilities and combat techniques were forbidden. Liu Wentao eagerly stepped up to the pillar and swiped his student ID. The AI Eva announced his attempt. His activation drew the attention of older students who mockingly noted he was only a first-tier middle-rank freshman. Feeling the pressure, a determined Liu Wentao resolved not to lose face. With a loud cry, he unleashed a powerful punch, striking the pillar with impressive force. The result flashed on the screen, a punch power of 476 kg. Pleased, Liu Wentao thought he did not embarrass himself, and getting into the top 3,000 should be no problem. His pride was short-lived as Eva delivered a devastating update. His rank was beyond 100,000. Liu Wentao was left in shock, screaming in disbelief and questioning how this was possible with only about 4,000 students at the university. Eva coldly clarified the leaderboard tallied the scores of all students since the university's founding 100 years ago. The humiliating realization dawned on Liu Wentao. The crowd was waiting to see him make a fool of himself. The older students erupted in laughter, with one remarking how hilarious it was. As his roommate wallowed in embarrassment, Xu Jingming offered some consolation, reminding him that as a spiritual element user, physical punch power was not his strength. A grateful Liu Wentao encouraged Xu Jingming to try, certain he would be stronger. Xu Jingming agreed, admitting he wanted to test his strength anyway. He swiped his ID and Eva announced his challenge. The crowd's attention shifted to him, but they were even more dismissive, noting he seemed weaker at a first-tier lower rank. They doubted his punch power would even reach 400 kg. However, one onlooker found the name Xu Jingming strangely familiar. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming was confident. He reflected on his recent progress, advancing to a first-tier ability user and tempering his body for 5 days and nights to forge his new technique's foundation. A quick check of his system panel confirmed his new stats, including an enhanced physique and the Thunder Indestructible Body First skill. He clenched his fist, eager to see what level his punch power had reached. With a surge of power, he threw a punch, and the impact created a powerful shock wave that rippled through the air, stunning the crowd in the martial arts hall. A digital screen showed the incredible result. A fist power of 45,589 kilograms. This score not only put him first on the leaderboard, but also shattered the long-standing record for first-tier ability users. The older students who had been mocking him were left in disbelief. One exclaimed the record had been broken, while another questioned how a lower-rank first-tier user could have such immense power. A third student grimly pointed out that a punch with that force could turn him into meat paste, finding it impossible to believe this was a freshman. 2 female students in the crowd were equally astonished. One commented that the top 1,000 on the leaderboard were figures who led the era, wondering how exceptional the new number 1 must be. Her friend added the record had stood for over 10 years and felt she must record the historic moment. His roommate Liu Wentao was ecstatic, grabbing Xu Jingming and declaring he was truly his brother and would follow him from now on. A smiling Xu Jingming modestly told him not to exaggerate. Looking at his fist, Xu Jingming inwardly reflected, pleased with the outcome. He concluded the Thunder Tyrannosaurus's essence blood was highly compatible with him, and the improvement in his strength was immediate. The AI Eva floated nearby and formally congratulated Xu Jingming for breaking the record, announcing a 400 credit reward had been issued to his account. A curious Xu Jingming asked if he could earn more credits by breaking the record again. Eva clarified the reward was only for the first time, but he could challenge the other level pillars for new rewards. Xu Jingming looked up at the other 4 pillars for 2nd to 5th tier users and decided he would break those records later. Meanwhile, his roommate had become a hype man as a group of impressed female students gathered around Liu Wentao, who pointed out his amazing roommate. The girls quickly swarmed a bewildered Xu Jingming, with some offering to teach him how to use equipment and others trying to recruit him for their club. Overwhelmed, Xu Jingming was pulled away by Liu Wentao, who suggested they escape to a private training room. Elsewhere at his master's residence, Dean Yang Genshin was enjoying tea. His senior disciple Liu Ming showed him his phone, reporting that his junior brother Xu was a hot topic on the campus forums. Dean Yang Genshin marveled at Xu Jingming's exaggerated physical strength, questioning why he ran off to break records instead of resting. Liu Ming then reflected on his own past. He recalled when he was a high-rank first-tier user and had just mastered the first layer of the Thunder Indestructible body. His fist power was only a little over 3,500 kg. He concluded with awe that his new junior brother was much more than just a little stronger than he was. In a luxurious apartment, a young man with dark hair and a brown jacket stared at his phone. Suddenly, he erupted in rage, slamming his hand on the marble countertop. The glass beside him shattered as his hand was covered in orange flames and blue lightning. He fumed, cursing that Xu Jingming had also come to Magic Capital, clenching his fiery fist. His face contorted with anger. He thought about how Xu Jingming's success had made him miss his chance to be the top scorer of Jiangnan province, turning him into a laughingstock in his home city. He fiercely vowed that this time he would take back all the honor he believed was his. Meanwhile, back in his university's training room, Xu Jingming sat calmly holding a small knife. He reflected on the effects of his new Thunder Indestructible body technique, marveling that even after 5 grueling days of tempering without food or rest, he was still full of energy. To test his new durability, he lightly dragged the sharp blade across his hand. The knife made a metallic sound but failed to break the skin, leaving only a faint white mark. He was impressed, realizing his body's defense was now like E-grade alloy, making him invulnerable to ordinary blades. He concluded it was truly a worthy S-grade body refinement technique. Just then, his roommate Liu Wentao burst in, calling his name excitedly. He informed Xu Jingming that the news of him breaking the record had caused an explosion on the campus forum. He added that countless students were posting replies, saying they wanted to challenge him. Far from being annoyed, a competitive smirk played on Xu Jingming's lips. He remarked to himself that the martial spirit at Magic University was indeed quite strong. Seeing the challenges, a protective Liu Wentao held up his phone and angrily offered to help his roommate by crushing the self-overestimating guys online. Xu Jingming calmly pushed his roommate's arm down, telling him to forget it and not waste his time. He explained he had more important things to do as he was heading to the Battle Technique Library and told Liu Wentao to head back to the dorm. Xu Jingming arrived at the massive and modern Battle Technique Library. As he approached the entrance, he held his hand out to a scanner, and a complex glowing orange security circle appeared, confirming the building's advanced protection. He was amazed by the security, recalling a rumor the library was personally guarded by the university's vice principal, a legendary 9th-tier superpower user. He realized that with such a powerful figure watching over it, even the strongest martial saints could not steal the treasures inside. After swiping his student ID card, he passed through the gate, and the security circle scanned him one last time before letting him in. Inside the grand hall, he was greeted by a trio of female librarians. The one in the center warmly welcomed him by name, addressing him as S-grade student Xu Jingming and asking how they could help. Surprised they knew him, Xu Jingming asked how they knew his name. The librarian politely explained that students with S-grade authority like him were special and had access to all battle techniques. Their system automatically notified them when he scanned his ID. The librarian's thoughts revealed her true motivation. She understood that S-grade authority meant his future was destined to be at least that of a Grandmaster-level user, and she made a mental note to befriend him. Xu Jingming told the librarian he was interested in lightning element superpower battle techniques and asked which floor he should go to. The librarian informed him that techniques of B grade and below were on the second and third floors, but the more precious ones were in a special reading room on the fourth floor. She added that he could get in by swiping his card. She then personally led him to the fourth floor into an elegant private reading room. Inside, a small floating AI device hovered over a table. The AI explained that once he selected techniques online, the original secret manuals would be delivered to him. She kindly warned him to be careful when handling them. Left alone, Xu Jingming commanded the AI to display all lightning element battle techniques of B grade and above. In response, the AI projected dozens of blue holographic screens that filled the room, each showing a different technique. As he looked through the selection, two techniques caught his eye. The first was an SSS-grade technique called 10,000 Prisons Heavenly Thunder Guidance, which created a massive thunderstorm domain. However, it was restricted to users who were at least 5th tier. The second was an SS-grade technique named Wrath of the Thunder God, which summoned powerful thunder. This one was also restricted, requiring a user to be at least 4th tier. Xu Jingming was in awe of the quality of the techniques. Seeing SS grade and even SSS grade options, he marveled at how rich the university's collection of secret manuals was and wondered if he could view them for free. His excitement faded as he realized the cultivation of these powerful techniques had strict requirements. With his current status, he could only learn A-grade battle techniques for now. He saw countless A-grade options, noting that choosing would be incredibly difficult without his teacher's guidance. Fortunately, he came prepared. He pulled out a recommendation list from his master, Dean Yang Genshin, which saved him time. Using the list, he interacted with the holographic displays, pointing out his desired techniques. He made his final decision, choosing 4 specific A-grade techniques. The first was Thunder Spear, an offensive technique. The second was Chain Thunder Gun, a sustained attack. The third was Thunder Flash, a movement technique. The final one was Thunder Prison, a control technique. He mentally categorized his new skills: Thunder Spear for ranged strikes, Chain Thunder Gun for sustained attacks, Thunder Flash for movement, and Thunder Prison for crowd control. He confidently believed that with these 4 battle techniques and his S-rank Thunder indestructible body, his combat style would have hardly any flaws. The AI Eva analyzed his selection, informing him the average time to learn each A-grade technique to an elementary level was 6 months. It recommended mixing in lower-level techniques for a more balanced approach. However, Xu Jingming confidently dismissed the advice. A short while later, the librarian returned, presenting him with the 4 physical manuals for his chosen techniques. As he reached for them, Xu Jingming marveled at how luxurious they were. He reflected on their market value, knowing even C-grade secret manuals cost millions, making these 4 priceless A-grade originals an incredible treasure. As he opened the first manual, a golden light shone from its pages. He was struck by the profound artistic conception and powerful aura, realizing it was an experience a copy could never reproduce. He settled down and began to study the manuals intently. As hours went by, his focus turned to frustration. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he clutched his head, struggling to comprehend the complex content. Despite the difficulty, he persevered, turning page after page. After a long study period, he leaned back, having finished all 4 manuals. He then called out to his system, Deep Blue, and commanded it to add points. The system responded instantly. 4 notifications appeared. confirming 200 superpower points had been consumed for each technique, and all 4 had been successfully learned to the elementary level. He then pulled up his system panel to view his updated status. His new skills, Thunder Spear, Thunder Flash, a grade Chain Thunder Gun, and Thunder Prison were all listed at the elementary level. His body refinement technique, Thunder Indestructible Body, remained at the first layer, and his available superpower points had decreased to 1,434. Standing up, Xu Jingming clenched his fist, a faint aura of power around him. Having acquired so many powerful battle techniques, he looked upward with a confident and predatory expression, wondering which lucky person would be the first to taste the power of his new arsenal. That night in their luxurious villa, Liu Wentao reportedly informed Xu Jingming about a notification he'd received from Eva. He said the freshman assembly would be held the following day at Training Ground 1. Liu Wentao also mentioned a new group chat for freshmen and suggested Xu Jingming join, to which Xu Jingming calmly agreed. Liu Wentao then asked his roommate what level of combat techniques he'd chosen at the library. Xu Jingming casually replied that he had picked up 4 A-rank combat techniques. This answer deeply shocked Liu Wentao, who exclaimed that a student would normally take until their sophomore or junior year to learn 4 A-rank techniques, concluding that his roommate certainly didn't take the usual route. Liu Wentao's curiosity intensified, and he reasoned that in order to browse A-rank techniques, Xu Jingming must have at least an A-rank permission level. Xu Jingming immediately corrected him, stating that his permission level was actually S-rank. The revelation utterly stunned Liu Wentao, who jumped to his feet. He shouted in disbelief, questioning why the school would even have a permission level higher than A-rank. A sudden realization then dawned on him, and he stammered that the online rumors about Xu Jingming being E-rank must be false, asking in shock if this meant Xu Jingming possessed an S-rank superpower. Xu Jingming simply smiled, teasingly remarking that the know-it-all had just learned something new. The confirmation left Liu Wentao in awe. He exclaimed that he had guessed Xu Jingming's rating was high, but he had never expected it to be S-rank, especially since other provincial top scorers were only A-rank. A wide, happy grin spread across Liu Wentao's face. He gave a thumbs up, deciding it was the right move to become a fan immediately, which solidified his status as an old fan. Later, Xu Jingming was in the second-floor training room. Holding a practice spear, he found it to be too light. He thought that now that he had the combat techniques he needed, he also required the right equipment. He reflected that his original F-rank obsidian spear was back home and was no longer suitable for his current strength. He decided to get new gear. He asked the AI Eva to open the school mall and search for spear-type weapons. Eva complied and holographic displays appeared, showing spears from F-rank to D-rank. Xu Jingming noted that he could customize the length and weight and understood that higher-ranked equipment was both heavier and more expensive. He chose an E-rank 210 kg spear along with an E-rank combat suit and boots. He confirmed the purchase. A notification showed the total cost was 237 credits, leaving him with 382.6 credits. The purchase was confirmed for delivery the next day. He thought with some dismay about how quickly his credits had disappeared, shrinking by nearly half. With his new gear on the way, he gripped the practice spear with a determined look. He knew he would have to rely on this temporary weapon. With a confident smirk, he declared that tonight it would help him practice his 4 new A-rank combat techniques. The next day, the freshmen of Madu Superpower University gathered for their assembly. As Xu Jingming arrived, he immediately drew the attention of the other students. Murmurs spread as they recognized him as the student who had broken the school's punch power record. They also identified him as the Jiangnan province top scorer, marveling at his strength and handsome appearance. Before he could find a seat, he was confronted by a tall, imposing young man named Lei Zhou, who aggressively pointed and loudly issued a challenge. Onlookers immediately recognized Lei Zhou as the second-place scorer from Jiangnan province, who had scored over 9,300. They gossiped about his privileged background, noting that both of his parents were powerful Tier 4 superpowered beings. They sympathetically remarked that it was a shame no one remembered second place, which made his unwillingness to accept his loss understandable. Despite the public challenge, Xu Jingming was unfazed. He calmly declined, stating he was not interested, a response that shocked his roommate Liu Wentao. Lei Zhou, however, smirked and told him not to refuse so quickly. He then brought up a personal matter, recalling that Xu Jingming's aunt's family ran a business selling rare plants. Leaning in with a menacing grin, he revealed that his family was his aunt's biggest customer and that she also owed them a large loan. He then delivered a thinly veiled threat, suggesting that if the payment wasn't made on time, his aunt's family might find themselves in trouble. The threat instantly changed the atmosphere. Xu Jingming's expression turned cold as a fierce dark blue aura erupted from his body. He quietly asked if Lei Zhou was threatening him. The sheer pressure of his aura physically forced a startled Lei Zhou to step back. Sweating and shaken, Lei Zhou struggled to comprehend the fierce, beast-like presence. He quickly backpedaled, stammering that it was not a threat, just a heads-up. Having made his point, Xu Jingming's aura subsided. He calmly asked for the time and place for their duel. Regaining his composure, Lei Zhou declared the fight would be in 7 days at noon on Broadcast Platform 3. Xu Jingming accepted, warning his new rival not to regret his decision. The confrontation created a buzz of excitement among the watching students, who eagerly anticipated the upcoming battle. Shortly after the assembly officially began, an older, gray-bearded university official took the stage. He welcomed them to the freshman assembly, clarifying that it was a session to answer questions about the university systems. However, he announced that the first thing he wanted to introduce was the school's combat power ranking. He explained that students would use a virtual dive pod for holographic combat simulations and that their ranking would be determined by the number of levels they could pass. He encouraged everyone to try their best, emphasizing that the rewards were very generous. After the hour-long meeting, a bored Xu Jingming let out a large yawn. He thought the only interesting part was the virtual dive pod, which he should try sometime. For now, his priority for the next few days was to continue his daily training with his senior Liu Ming and his mentor. For 7 days, Xu Jingming dedicated himself to intense training under his senior Liu Ming and his master, Dean Yang Genshin. After the week of training, Liu Ming approached Xu Jingming with astonishment. He noted that his junior brother had already advanced to the mid-level of the first tier and asked how it had happened so quickly. Xu Jingming simply smiled and said it was just luck. However, his inner thoughts revealed the truth. He had deliberately waited a few days before using his system to level up, which made the advancement cost only 380 superpower points. He mused that if he had leveled up any faster, he probably would have scared his senior silly. Changing the subject, Liu Ming remembered the duel and asked if Xu Jingming had a match scheduled for noon. Xu Jingming confirmed he did. With a confident smile, Liu Ming patted his junior on the shoulder and said he would observe 3 minutes of silence for his opponent. He decided to accompany Xu Jingming to the match. The scene shifted to Broadcast Platform 3, a large arena where a crowd had gathered. Lei Zhou entered the ring with his friends. One noted, "It's a good chance to see the top scorer's strength." Another dismissed Xu Jingming's high score as a fluke and bet that Lei Zhou would win. When someone mentioned that Xu Jingming had broken the punch power record, Lei Zhou scoffed, arguing that a physical record was meaningless when superpowers were what truly mattered. Just then, Xu Jingming made his entrance with Liu Ming. Dressed in a new black coat and carrying his new spear, his arrival caused a stir. As Xu Jingming walked towards the ring, Liu Ming thought with amusement that with his junior's handsome looks, he would undoubtedly charm countless female students once he achieved success. From the ring, Lei Zhou observed his opponent's aura and noted that Xu Jingming's rank had increased. However, he remained confident, thinking he had other preparations. Seeking to raise the stakes, Lei Zhou proposed they add a wager of all their credits. Xu Jingming accepted without hesitation, stating he had 370 credits. Impressed, Lei Zhou said he would cover any shortfall in his own credits with cash. He proposed they both transfer their credits to the account of Old Master Zhou, a neutral third party. The teacher presiding over the match was a woman with blonde hair tied in a ponytail called Zhou Yun, a powerful Tier 6 mid-level healing-type superpowered being. As he completed the credit transfer, Xu Jingming noted the presence of the high-tier healer, Teacher Zhou Yun. He understood that battles between superpowered beings were dangerous and realized the school had taken precautions to prevent deaths. He agreed to the terms. The crowd buzzed with excitement as the massive wager worth 3.7 million in currency was confirmed. Teacher Jo Yun stepped forward to officiate. She confirmed she had received the credits and instructed them to prepare. She laid out the rules. If one person admitted defeat or lost consciousness, the other was forbidden from continuing the attack. Both Xu Jingming and Lei Zhou calmly acknowledged that they understood. The two opponents faced each other. Xu Jingming stood ready with his spear while Lei Zhou drew his sword. With grim determination, Lei Zhou unleashed his A-rank fire ability, Dense Pine Industry Fire. A vortex of intense orange flames erupted around him as he declared he would take back all the honor Xu Jingming had made him lose. The power of his ability impressed the crowd, who marveled at the terrifying force of an A-rank fire superpower. Wreathed in flames, Lei Zhou charged forward. He leaped and brought his sword down in a powerful raging flame slash. In response, Xu Jingming simply stood his ground and swung his spear in a basic upward arc. To everyone's astonishment, his simple block completely neutralized the flaming sword strike. The audience was stunned. They couldn't believe Xu Jingming hadn't used a combat technique and still blocked such a powerful move. They exclaimed in shock that a normal attack had just broken a big special move. Lei Zhou himself was left speechless, gritting his teeth in disbelief. With his opponent's attack nullified, Xu Jingming looked at him with cold indifference. Purple lightning began to crackle around him as he told Lei Zhou that nothing was impossible and that the only reason it seemed so was because Lei Zhou was simply too weak. Before his rival could react, Xu Jingming launched a devastating counterattack. Surrounded by a torrent of purple lightning, he lunged forward and struck Lei Zhou squarely in the chest, sending him flying backward. The purple lightning from Xu Jingming's attack coursed through Lei Zhou's body, making him cry out in agony. The force of the blow sent his sword flying amidst a spray of blood as he was thrown backward. He landed hard on the floor of the ring, slumping over in defeat as smoke rose from his body. The crowd was stunned by the swift and decisive outcome. Lei Zhou's supporters were in disbelief, with one exclaiming that the fight was over after only 2 moves from Xu Jingming. Another angrily questioned the claim that Lei Zhou was stronger now that he'd been instantly defeated. The onlookers agreed that Xu Jingming's strength was on a completely different level from the other freshmen. Watching from the sidelines, Liu Ming looked completely unimpressed. He thought to himself that the match was too boring and hadn't even made his junior brother use a tenth of his real power. Back in the ring, teacher Jo Yun began to announce the winner. However, a wounded Lei Zhou struggled to his feet, calling out to her. He gritted his teeth, insisting he was not lost and that the match was not over. In a desperate move, he pulled out a small red pill. Teacher Jo Yun immediately recognized it, shouting in alarm and identifying it as a rampaging blood pill. She warned him against taking it, telling him this was just a match and not worth risking his life. The audience also recognized the dangerous item. They murmured that while the pill could boost a user's strength several times over for a short period, it had severe side effects that could leave him bedridden for months. They questioned if the risk was worth it. With a major university competition only a month away, Lei Zhou ignored their concerns, stating that he would bear any consequences himself. He was determined to take the gamble and would accept his loss only if he was defeated after this. In the crowd, some students, including Liu Wentao, protested, asking if using a performance-enhancing drug was allowed. Teacher Jo Yun addressed the complaints, clarifying that since this was an unofficial battle, there were no strict rules. She explained that weapons, combat suits, and drugs were all considered permissible resources. As she spoke, Lei Zhou swallowed the pill. She finished by stating that if Xu Jingming had a similar pill, he would also be allowed to use it. As the pill took effect, Lei Zhou's body erupted in an even more intense fire aura. His eyes began to glow with a menacing orange light as he roared with newfound power. Teacher Jo Yun watched with a worried expression, noting the pill was high-grade and had boosted Lei Zhou's power to the lower level of the second tier. She concluded that Xu Jingming was now in serious trouble. Faced with his opponent's desperate power-up, Xu Jingming's own battle intent surged, becoming even more potent as a torrent of purple lightning erupted around him. From the sidelines, teacher Jo Yun observed this with approval, thinking that Xu Jingming's fighting spirit was becoming even more vigorous and that he had the mindset of a great general. Gripping his spear, a confident smile played on Xu Jingming's lips. He thought to himself that finally the fight was no longer like an adult beating up a child. He took a single step forward, and the lightning around his combat boots shattered the floor of the ring. He then charged at his opponent with blinding speed. Lei Zhou was shocked by his incredible velocity. The two fighters clashed in the center of the ring, their superpowered attacks meeting with explosive force. Lei Zhou blocked Xu Jingming's initial thrust, but the raw power behind the attack was overwhelming. The force of the blow sent Lei Zhou staggering backward, forcing him to his knees to absorb the impact. Still surrounded by his wavering flames, he gritted his teeth in disbelief. He couldn't understand how, even with his strength boosted to the second tier, he was still no match for Xu Jingming. He wondered what kind of monster he was facing. Realizing a head-on fight was useless, Lei Zhou changed his strategy. He decided that if he couldn't win a direct clash, he would attack from a distance. He leaped back and launched a volley of powerful fireballs at Xu Jingming. However, his ranged attack was met with casual disdain. Xu Jingming effortlessly swung his spear in a wide arc, creating a vortex of lightning that deflected all the fireballs. He mockingly asked if that was all Lei Zhou had. Frustrated and sweating, Lei Zhou cursed his opponent's flawless lightning ability. He desperately clung to a new hope, thinking that while he could no longer get close, if he could exhaust Xu Jingming's power before his drug boost wore off, he might still have a chance. But Xu Jingming had no intention of letting the fight drag on. He decided to end it. He raised his hand and summoned a massive amount of purple energy, condensing it into a solid spear of pure crackling lightning, his A-rank technique Thunder Spear. He hurled the condensed energy weapon at his opponent. The spear flew through the air and slammed directly into Lei Zhou's shoulder, piercing his defenses. Stumbling back in shock and pain, clutching his wound, Lei Zhou had a horrifying realization. His opponent also had a devastating long-range attack. Before Lei Zhou could recover, Xu Jingming followed up with another technique. A powerful sphere of lightning materialized above Lei Zhou, and torrents of purple energy rained down, electrocuting him. Stunned and in pain, he looked up, wondering what new battle technique this was. With a cold expression, Xu Jingming pointed forward and declared the name of his A-rank control skill, Thunder Prison. A cage of crackling purple lightning formed around Lei Zhou, trapping him completely. He cursed, realizing he was caught in a restriction-type technique. In a desperate move, he summoned his remaining power to create a flame barrier, a swirling vortex of fire around his body. Trapped but defiant, he taunted Xu Jingming, declaring that if he couldn't get out, then Xu Jingming couldn't get in, challenging him to a battle of attrition. Xu Jingming, however, was unfazed. He looked at the fiery defense with disdain, thinking the flame barrier looked weak and wondering how many of his attacks it could withstand. Instead of a battle of wills, he leapt high into the air, easily clearing the flame barrier and positioning himself directly above his trapped opponent. While airborne, he unleashed his ultimate assault. He summoned his power, and dozens of massive glowing purple spears of pure lightning materialized in the air, all aimed at the helpless Lei Zhou. The deadly rain of lightning spears began to descend, a technique that looked like a devastating version of his chain thunder gun. Looking up at the overwhelming attack, Lei Zhou was filled with absolute terror. He knew with certainty that if he were hit by that barrage, he would die. With his life on the line, his pride shattered, and he screamed out his surrender. At the very last second, just as Lei Zhou shouted his concession, the tip of the lead lightning spear stopped inches from his eye. The rain of spears dissipated as Xu Jingming landed gracefully in the ring. In a final definitive motion, he thrust his physical spear forward, piercing Lei Zhou's chest and leaving no doubt as to who the victor was. Xu Jingming withdrew his spear from Lei Zhou's chest, leaving him kneeling and defeated on the floor. With a commanding presence, Xu Jingming stood over his opponent as teacher Zhou Yun officially declared him the winner. The crowd was left in shock and awe. They exclaimed that it was a complete and utter crushing defeat. They marveled at how Xu Jingming had flawlessly chained together 4 different battle techniques in just a few seconds, a feat far beyond what any normal freshman should be capable of. 2 students discussed the power of the techniques they had witnessed. One guessed they must all be at least B grade. His friend was amazed, admitting the best technique he had learned was only C grade. Watching from the sidelines, Liu Ming overheard their speculation and looked stressed. He thought to himself that they were severely underestimating his junior brother. He knew the truth. Xu Jingming had dared to choose 4A-grade techniques and had already mastered them to a combat-ready level. He reflected on his own experience, recalling that he had only dared to choose a single A-grade technique as a freshman, and it had still taken him over 4 months to learn. He admitted that having such a monstrously talented junior brother put a great deal of pressure on him. Back in the ring, a humbled Lei Zhou got to his feet. He sincerely thanked Xu Jingming for sparing his life and accepted his complete defeat. He promised the wagered credits and cash were now his and assured him he would make the payment owed to his aunt's business on time. Teacher Zhou Yun approached Xu Jingming and confirmed the transfer of his winnings. 50 credits and 3.2 million in currency had been deposited into his student account. Xu Jingming thought that a gambling fight was a quick way to make money. With the duel over, Liu Wentao rushed down to the ring, ecstatic. He congratulated Brother Ming, telling him he was now a rich man and invited him to go out and relax in the city center that evening to celebrate. Xu Jingming began to decline, explaining he had training scheduled with his senior. However, Liu Ming, standing nearby, encouraged him to go, advising him that a proper balance of training and relaxation was the key to long-term success. Taking his senior's advice, Xu Jingming agreed to go out. As they prepared to leave, Liu Wentao excitedly pointed towards Liu Ming, gushing about his reputation as the vice president of the Ash Club, a user of an A-rank lightning superpower. As he and Xu Jingming walked off together, Liu Wentao commented that the famous senior was even more impressive in person. As they left the arena, Liu Wentao told Xu Jingming to just follow his lead as he had arranged the entire program for the evening. A slightly suspicious Xu Jingming looked back and asked what kind of program he was talking about. Liu Wentao turned with a wide, mischievous grin and pointed at his friend. He revealed his grand plan, the one unmissable event of university life. A table had been lavishly set with food for a social gathering. Liu Wentao approached Xu Jingming, who was seated, and excitedly told him how popular he had become. He explained that he had posted an invitation for a social mixer on the campus forum, revealing that over 100 people had registered and he had a hard time choosing who to invite. Xu Jingming smiled, commenting on his friend's dedication, and asked who he had finally chosen. Liu Wentao playfully replied that it was a secret for now, but said that Xu Jingming would meet them soon. Just then, Liu Wentao spotted the guests arriving and called them over. 2 young women approached. One, who wore glasses, introduced herself as Kai Dongxia, the invited guest. Her companion, a girl with dark hair, introduced herself as her roommate Song Chuku. Liu Wentao proudly introduced them to Xu Jingming, highlighting their abilities. He explained that Kai Dongxia had an A-rank beast-type ability, while Song Chuku was a high-level first-tier user with an A-rank light element ability and was also the top scorer in her province. Xu Jingming politely introduced himself. Upon hearing his name, Song Chuku's expression shifted to one of surprise. She immediately asked Xu Jingming if he would be interested in a sparring match, telling him he could pick the time and place. Her friend Kai Dongxia called her a battle maniac for trying to set up a fight right after meeting, reminding her they were there to socialize. Song Chuku admitted that her main reason for coming was the chance to spar with Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming stepped in to smooth things over, inviting them to sit down. Liu Wentao clarified that the plan was just to have fun, eat, and go shopping together. The group spent the evening at the bustling Hihai commercial street. Song Chuku looked up at the towering skyscrapers, in awe of how magnificent the city was. As they walked, Kai Dongxia admired the clothes in a window while Xu Jingming noticed the wide array of high-end equipment for superpowered individuals, including A-rank weapons. He observed a display of blades and elixirs, thinking that this commercial center offered a far greater selection of gear than his hometown of Jiangcheng. Their outing continued as they enjoyed some street food together. Later, they browsed a clothing boutique. As the girls shopped, Xu Jingming offered to hold Song Chuku's shopping bag, and their hands briefly touched as he took it. Afterward, Xu Jingming watched as the 2 girls walked ahead, looking at a jewelry display. By the end of the evening, Xu Jingming was holding many shopping bags. surprised that they had spent several million in just a few hours. Liu Wentao remarked that despite Song Chuku's simple style, she was quite a wealthy young woman. When Xu Jingming seemed curious, Liu Wentao leaned in to explain that her family background was also incredibly powerful. Just then, Kai Dongxia cheerfully called out to them to help carry one final bag, while Song Chuku thought it was probably time to head back. The night ended with Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao walking the girls back to their impressive villa. Song Chuku told the boys that they had had a lot of fun. Both Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao waved goodbye as the girls headed towards their home. However, before leaving, Song Chuku stopped and faced Xu Jingming with a serious expression. She told him that she had been serious earlier and promised that one day she would formally challenge him to a sparring match. Her determined declaration surprised Xu Jingming for a moment, but he quickly recovered, a confident smile on his face, and accepted her challenge, saying he was looking forward to it. Song Chuku seemed pleased before turning to go inside. Once inside, Kai Dongxia began to tease her friend. She remarked that she had never seen Song Chuku show a pleasant expression to any boy since they started university, with Xu Jingming as the only exception. She happily concluded that it had been a great idea to bring her. Song Chuku explained the reason for her usual coldness. She revealed that her A-rank light element ability let her perceive the inner thoughts of others, so she was constantly exposed to the impure thoughts of the boys around her. However, she said Xu Jingming was different. Her ability had revealed that he only held a sense of appreciation with no impure intentions. She concluded thoughtfully that he was special. Hearing this, Kai Dongxia got a mischievous look, teasingly concluding that Miss Song had developed a crush. Meanwhile, as the boys walked back, Liu Wentao sighed with satisfaction, commenting that it was nice to relax once in a while, and Xu Jingming quietly agreed. Xu Jingming, however, was lost in thought. He reflected on Song Chuku and her high-level status, realizing he still had a long way to go. The thought motivated him to work hard and grow even stronger. 15 days later, Xu Jingming was meditating in his training room. Sensing he was ready, he decided it was time to level up and commanded his system, Deep Blue, to use his points for an upgrade. A violent surge of purple lightning erupted from his body. System notifications confirmed he was undergoing a dual advancement from a mid-level to a high-level first-tier user, while also leveling up his Thunder Indestructible Body technique to its second level. As the energy subsided, Xu Jingming reflected on his progress. He noted that the rank up had significantly increased his power and that the second level of his body tempering technique was focused on strengthening his bones and muscles. He then consulted the training manual, which revealed that upon reaching the third level, he would unlock a special ability called the Thunder Extreme State, which provides a temporary but immense boost to power and speed. He pulled up his system panel to check his new status. While pleased, he was disappointed to see he only had 62 ability points left, not enough to reach the next level. He realized it was time to ask his master for leave to go to the wilderness, hunt beasts, and get more ability points. Later, when Xu Jingming visited his master's residence, Dean Yang Genshin was shocked by his rapid advancement, asking if he had broken through again. Xu Jingming calmly confirmed his progress from the previous night, also mentioning that his body tempering technique had reached the second level. The dean was inwardly amazed, thinking his student spoke of difficult breakthroughs as if they were simple. He concluded that with an S-rank ability and such hard training, there was nothing Xu Jingming could not achieve. His senior disciple, Liu Ming, remarked that his junior brother was a monster, recalling that it had taken him half a year to make the same advancement. Dean Genshin told Xu Jingming that leveling up was important, but he must not neglect combat training. To test his new strength, the dean suggested a sparring match against his senior Liu Ming, which Xu Jingming eagerly accepted. In the training room, Liu Ming said that he would suppress his own power to that of a low-level second-tier user, instructing Xu Jingming to fight with full strength. After a countdown, the match began. Both warriors leaped forward and their spears met in the center with a powerful clash, erupting in a brilliant explosion of purple and green energy. The force of their clash left Liu Ming surprised. He thought to himself that his junior brother's power was incredibly strong, almost on par with his own, even with his power suppressed. Xu Jingming, covered in purple lightning, felt a thrill of excitement. He realized that for the first time since getting his system, he was facing an opponent of equal strength. Deciding to press his advantage, Xu Jingming concentrated a sphere of lightning in his hand and unleashed his thunder prison technique. The massive orb of electricity flew across the room, forcing Liu Ming to defend himself. Before his senior could recover, Xu Jingming leaped and followed up with another attack, throwing a volley of lightning spears in a move like his chain thunder gun technique. Liu Ming recognized the combination of skills. With a smirk, he noted that this was the same combination that had defeated Lei Ju, but declared that he was no mere freshman. He gathered his own power and unleashed a devastating counterattack, a massive torrent of teal-colored lightning called Jade Pivot True Thunder. 20 minutes later, the intense battle was over. An exhausted Xu Jingming leaned on his spear for support. He conceded the match, admitting that his divine thunder energy was depleted and that he had lost. Liu Ming, however, reassured him. He explained that Xu Jingming had not lost because of skill, but was simply at a disadvantage due to lower energy reserves. Their master, Din Yang Genshin, approached them, praising the fight as an exciting spectacle. He admitted Xu Jingming's performance far exceeded his expectations. He had thought Liu Ming would win easily, but instead they were so evenly matched that the outcome was decided by a battle of attrition. Liu Ming then asked his junior brother if he was aware of the true level his combat power had reached during their fight. When Xu Jingming looked back, puzzled, Liu Ming made a stunning declaration. His power was now unrivaled in the second tier. The weight of this new assessment left Xu Jingming looking thoughtful and determined. After a strenuous sparring session, Din Yang Genshin announced that the training was over and instructed everyone to rest. The butler, Uncle Fu, approached with a tray of spirit fruits, explaining that they were perfect for recovery after training. Taking advantage of the moment, Xu Jingming went up to his master with a request. He disclosed that he was preparing to leave the university to go on a trip to the wilderness. The dean was taken aback and inquired about the planned duration of the trip. Xu Jingming explained that he intended to stay for over a month, planning to return just before the freshman competition. The extended duration clearly worried his master. With a stern expression, the dean warned him that the wilderness was far more dangerous than the exam grounds. He elaborated that there was no army protection there and that beasts roamed without predictable patterns, making it easy to encounter a high-level creature. He emphasized that the dangers of staying for over a month were immense. However, seeing his disciple's determination, the dean relented. He decided that if Xu Jingming was set on going, he would not stop him. He placed a firm hand on his student's shoulder, offering one piece of advice. If a situation ever looked bad, he must flee without hesitation. The dean explained that the path to becoming powerful was filled with life and death crises, and since his disciple was so ambitious, he would not stand in his way. Xu Jingming bowed his head in gratitude, thanking his master for his understanding. The dean then asked which wilderness area he planned to visit. As Xu Jingming took a spirit fruit from Liu Ming, he replied that he was heading to the wilderness near Yuanu City. This news seemed to relieve the dean, who noted the area was next to magic capital, and the beasts there only went up to tier 4 or 5, making it a relatively safer choice. He told Xu Jingming that he would have Liu Ming share some valuable experience with him later, an offer Xu Jingming accepted. As a final gesture of support, the dean explained that since he cannot offer much help while he was away, he would at least provide him with a suitable weapon. A glowing ring on his finger began to shine with a bright teal light, and he took Xu Jingming's hand, preparing to give him his gift. Back in his dorm room, Xu Jingming was sitting on his bed, his new spear and a packed bag beside him. He asked the AI Eva to open the university's mission system. As holographic screens appeared, he recalled the advice his senior disciple, Liu Ming, had given him. Before leaving for the wilderness, it was a good idea to accept some missions to earn extra credits. He looked through the list, noting the variety of tasks available, such as collecting beast materials, gathering rare herbs, and capturing fugitives. He saw that the rewards varied by difficulty, with C and D rank missions offering modest credits, while S and A rank missions offered much more. Xu Jingming observed that all the high-reward missions involved combat, remarking to himself that this must be the training model of Madu University, pushing its students into dangerous situations to grow stronger. He remembered a saying that the most outstanding students were not found on campus but out in the world. With this in mind, he selected 1 A rank and 3 B rank missions for his trip. With his preparations complete, Xu Jingming put on his new combat attire, slung his backpack over his shoulder, and prepared to leave. As Eva wished him good luck, he thought to himself that there was no time to waste and he must set out immediately. His journey took him to the Yuanch City Supply Base, a bustling town in a mountainous region that served as a forward base for those venturing into the wilderness. The streets were filled with adventurers trying to recruit members for their beast-hunting teams. Xu Jingming arrived, taking in the lively atmosphere with satisfaction. Thinking that he had finally made it, he walked through the streets and entered a grand building that served as a registration hall for adventurers. The hall was filled with other armed individuals. A woman in an elegant red dress who worked as a receptionist greeted him warmly and asked how she could assist him. Xu Jingming stated his purpose, explaining he wanted to register as an adventurer. He held up his identification, knowing that to enter the wilderness, one must first register for a nationally recognized adventurer identity. The receptionist took Xu Jingming's university ID and was impressed that he was a student from Madu Superpower University. She remarked that it was rare to see a first-tier user like him venturing into the wilderness so soon. She informed him it would take a little while to process his registration and suggested he rest in the hall while he waited. As Xu Jingming waited, he walked through the hall observing the other adventurers. Suddenly, a commotion erupted near the entrance. A group of men exclaimed in excitement as a newcomer arrived. They recognized her as the goddess Jiang Chuquan, commenting on her beauty and powerful aura, noting that such a presence was expected from a student of Madu University. The center of attention was a stylish woman with long white hair and sunglasses who walked through the hall with confidence, followed by 2 large bodyguards and a cameraman. She was Jiang Chuquan, a second-year student from Madu Superpower University. The onlookers gossiped, speculating she must be there to film new material for her online videos. They praised her content and marveled at her popularity, with one man stating she had at least 10 million fans. Another corrected him, claiming she had over 15 million followers and passionately declared he would trade 10 years of his life to be her boyfriend. From a distance, Xu Jingming observed the scene. He recognized she was a fellow student and internally noted her beauty was on par with Song Chuku's. His observation was interrupted when the receptionist called him over. She handed him his new adventurer card and a satellite smartwatch, explaining the watch had a map of the wilderness detailing beast activity and danger levels. Xu Jingming thanked her. As he turned to leave, a shady-looking man stopped him. The man guessed this was Xu Jingming's first trip into the wilderness and warned him it was dangerous to go unprepared, offering to sell him some essential elixirs. Intrigued, Xu Jingming asked about the price. The man eagerly opened his coat to reveal hidden pills, offering first-grade healing elixirs for 20,000 and antidote elixirs for 15,000. He also mentioned he had more potent second-grade versions, though they were more expensive. Xu Jingming casually remarked that the prices did not seem that high. The merchant laughed, pleased, and boasted that he was well known for selling cheap and effective elixirs. However, Xu Jingming's expression turned sharp. He internally noted that something was wrong. He knew a standard first-grade elixir should cost at least 30 or 40,000. The man's low prices could only mean one thing: he was a scammer targeting inexperienced newcomers. Instead of being intimidated, Xu Jingming calmly asked how many elixirs the man wanted, then immediately called out his scam, asking how many other newcomers he had cheated. The merchant, realizing he was caught, dropped his friendly act. He aggressively got in Xu Jingming's face, asking if he was toying with him from the start. Xu Jingming remained unfazed, simply asking what the merchant thought. The merchant's face twisted into a menacing grin. He declared that Xu Jingming was the first person to dare provoke him within the supply base. However, before things could escalate, a young woman with short dark hair intervened, shouting at the merchant. She called him by his name Zhao Chunlin and accused him of scamming new adventurers again. The woman walked towards them. Annoyed, Zhao Chunlin muttered that Xu Jingming was lucky this time. Before leaving, he leaned in and delivered a sinister threat, warning Xu Jingming not to leave the supply base for the next few days or he would regret it. As Zhao Chunlin stalked away, the other adventurers gossiped. They commented that the newcomer was in trouble for being targeted by Zhao Chunlin and that he had provoked the wrong person. One adventurer noted that Zhao Chunlin was rumored to be a mid-level second-tier user, making him too powerful for a high-level first-tier user like Xu Jingming. The woman who intervened approached Xu Jingming and warned him that Zhao Chunlin was vengeful, advising him to stay inside the base. Xu Jingming thanked her but asked why a known scammer was not dealt with by the authorities. She explained Zhao Chunlin had powerful connections, which was why no one interfered. She advised Xu Jingming to buy his supplies from official channels and gave him one last warning not to leave. As she walked away, Xu Jingming watched her go, thinking she was a kind-hearted person. Putting the encounter out of his mind, Xu Jingming refocused. He decided to first purchase all the supplies he would need for the month, making a mental list of healing elixirs, antidote elixirs, and other necessities. Having finished his business, Xu Jingming approached an official counter to purchase his supplies. After stowing the items in his backpack, he left the adventurer's hall, now fully equipped and ready for the wilderness. However, as soon as he stepped outside, his path was blocked by Zhao Chunlin and his cronies. The merchant looked furious, mockingly commenting on how Xu Jingming was foolish and defiant for daring to leave after being warned not to. He angrily asked if this was a sign of disrespect. Unfazed, Xu Jingming calmly asked what he wanted. Enraged by his calm demeanor, Zhao Chunlin's face twisted into a sneer. He declared that since Xu Jingming had disrespected him, he would break both of his legs and make sure he spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair, claiming it was the only way to appease his anger. Nearby, the kind adventurer woman who had warned him earlier saw the confrontation. She expressed frustration that he did not listen to her and declared she must go help. However, her companion held her back, suggesting it might be better to let him learn a lesson. Back in the confrontation, Zhao Chunlin prepared to make good on his threat. Dark energy swirled around his arm as he activated his ability. He boasted about his C-rank metallic skin superpower, claiming that when combined with his D-rank combat suit, Xu Jingming would not even be able to scratch him. He then gave his ultimatum: unless Xu Jingming paid him 1 million and knelt an apology, he would be crippled. Xu Jingming's reaction was instant. A faint crackle of purple lightning came from his body as he uttered a single contemptuous word: shameless. The sudden surge of his energy startled Zhao Chunlin, his eyes widening in shock. Before Zhao Chunlin or his cronies could react, Xu Jingming disappeared in a flash of purple lightning, reappearing behind the merchant and striking him down with a single devastating blow. The sheer force of Xu Jingming's single lightning-fast attack sent Zhao Chunlin flying backward, his body battered and bleeding. Zhao Chunlin was slammed with such power that he crashed through and completely shattered a nearby stone wall. The onlookers, particularly the kind adventurer woman and her companions, were left utterly speechless by the sudden and brutal display of strength. Xu Jingming stood calmly in the now devastated courtyard, completely unfazed by the chaos he had caused. As the crowd parted around him, the onlookers were in shock, murmuring about the instant and terrifying defeat of Zhao Chunlin. One person noted they had not even seen how Xu Jingming attacked, while another remarked that they had initially been worried for the newcomer, never expecting him to be so strong. The consensus among the spectators was clear: Zhao Chunlin had picked a fight with the wrong person. The kind adventurer woman and her friend were also trying to process the shocking events they had just witnessed. The woman admitted that she had been unable to follow his movements either. Her blonde companion grimly assessed the damage, guessing that Xiao Chunlin's legs and pelvis must have been completely shattered. She concluded that even if he survived, he would be a cripple. The kind woman remarked that Xu Jingming was not only incredibly strong but also ruthless, truly a student from the prestigious Madu Superpower University. When her companion asked how she knew, she explained that she had recognized his combat suit as exclusive gear from the university. Impressed by his power, the kind woman, whose friend called her Xiao Qiyan, suggested that they should try to recruit him into their team, noting that they were short one attacker. Her teammate immediately protested, reminding her that when they had formed their all-female team, they had agreed to only accept female members. The other teammates playfully teased Xiao Qiyan, suggesting she was only interested because he was handsome, though they admitted they would not be opposed to him joining. The teasing left Xiao Qiyan visibly flustered. Ignoring the commotion, Xu Jingming proceeded to the wilderness entry gate. He scanned his adventurer card, and a notification confirmed his identity and granted him permission to enter. He stepped through the massive gate and into the vast expanse of the Yuani wilderness area, a dense, untamed forest. Shortly after entering, he paused as the distant, powerful roar of a beast echoed through the trees. He recognized the sound as a territorial declaration from powerful beasts, likely at least Tier 4. However, he remained calm, noting to himself that these creatures were not his targets for the day. He began to plan his hunt, recalling that the Yuan wilderness was divided into a ruined city and a mountain forest. He decided that the beasts in the city were generally weaker, making them the perfect starting point to harvest the ability points he needed. He pulled up a holographic map on his smartwatch and identified a nearby location called Ping'an County. The data indicated the area was mostly inhabited by Tier 2 beasts with very few Tier 1 and no higher-tiered creatures. With its large area and an estimated 500 to 600 beasts, he concluded it was the ideal hunting ground. With a determined cry, Xu Jingming declared his arrival in Ping'an County and broke into a full sprint, his body covered in a faint blue aura as he moved with incredible speed through the forest. He soon entered the desolate, ruined streets of the county, where his presence immediately attracted a ferocious, wolf-like beast that lunged at him from the shadows. Xu Jingming calmly identified his attacker as a Tier 2 shadow cat, seeing it as a timely delivery of ability points. However, as he prepared to fight, he suddenly clutched his chest in pain. He felt the violent, negative emotions from the Thunder Tyrannosaurus blood stirring within him, filling him with an overwhelming urge to kill. He realized that the more he tried to suppress this impulse, the stronger it became. A savage, manic grin spread across his face as he decided he had had enough of holding back, unleashing a torrent of purple lightning. He embraced the bloodlust, his sudden transformation and terrifying aura leaving the shadow cat frozen in fear. The scene then shifted to 1 month later. A team of 4 adventurers patrolled the empty streets of the same county. One of them asked their bald, red-bearded captain why the area was so deserted, complaining they had been searching for a full day without finding a single beast. The captain angrily retorted that he had no idea, finding the situation deeply unsettling. He reasoned there should be hundreds of beasts in a city of this size, and even a mass migration would not leave the area so completely barren. Just then, their luck seemed to change as a large, tiger-like armblade tiger appeared before them, startling the group. Relieved to have finally found a target, the captain rallied his men, declaring they should kill it together. However, before they could move, a massive spear of pure purple lightning descended from the sky. The energy spear slammed directly into the beast, instantly obliterating it in a massive explosion of purple energy and debris. The adventurers were left stunned by the sudden, overwhelming attack. One of them nervously wondered if they had just seen a new type of laser weapon. The more experienced captain dismissed the idea, explaining a laser would be much faster. He correctly deduced that the devastating attack was an incredibly powerful lightning element combat technique. The captain of the adventurer team quickly understood the situation. He concluded that the devastating attack was a clear warning and that a powerful individual had claimed the entire county as their territory. He urged his team to leave immediately. His men scrambled to follow, with one commenting on how terrifying the lightning spear was, while another finally understood why they could not find any beasts. They had all been wiped out by this powerful lightning user. The captain yelled at them to hurry, fearing the consequences if they lingered, and angered the mysterious powerhouse. The scene shifted to reveal the powerhouse, Xu Jingming, perched calmly on a high-rise structure. A system notification popped up, confirming his kill of a Tier 2 Armblade Tiger and awarding him 19 ability points. He reflected on his progress, pleased that after reaching a high level of proficiency, his Thunder Spear technique now had a range of over 1,000 meters. He then pulled up his status panel to review his accomplishments over the past month. By accumulating over 8,000 ability points, he had advanced from a high-level first tier to a high-level second-tier user, and his Thunder Indestructible body had broken through to the third level. He also proudly noted that he had managed to raise several of his A-rank combat techniques to the intermediate level, a feat he believed no one else could achieve in such a short time. Having cleared out the entire county, Xu Jingming decided it was time to pack up. He planned to return to the supply base for the night before venturing deeper into the wilderness. The next day, back at the Yui supply base, a group of adventurers watched in disbelief as Xu Jingming returned, weighed down by an impossibly large and overflowing backpack. They joked about the situation, wondering if his bag had grown legs and speculating that he must have foolishly hauled back the entire carcass of a beast. Unseen by them, Xu Jingming thought to himself that it was a good thing he had bought the reinforced version of the backpack. Otherwise, it never would have held the more than 400 kg of beast materials he had collected. He proceeded to the adventurer's hall and approached the receptionist's counter to sell his haul. The woman politely asked what materials he wished to sell and directed him to a large scale. Xu Jingming opened his massive pack, revealing a mountain of valuable, high-quality beast parts. He informed the stunned receptionist that he had over 400 kg of Tier 2 beast materials and asked her to see how much they were worth. Still in awe, the receptionist examined the parts, noting they were all the most valuable and pristine components, such as tiger tendons, claws, and rhino horns. Completely overwhelmed, she apologetically asked Xu Jingming to wait, explaining the quantity of materials was too large for her to handle alone and that she needed to call for help. Shortly after, a well-dressed man with 2 female attendants in red dresses approached. He introduced himself as Xiaoyi, the manager in charge of acquisitions. After Xu Jingming introduced himself, manager Xiaoyi shook his hand, expressing his admiration that someone so young could hunt so many beasts. He offered to have his staff take care of the inventory and invited Xu Jingming to sit with him while they waited. While Xu Jingming sat with manager Xiaoyi, the Adventurers Hall staff, aided by floating scanner drones, meticulously appraised the massive pile of beast materials. The manager was clearly impressed by his young client's skill and decided to foster a good relationship. He presented Xu Jingming with a platinum membership card for the supply base, which granted a discount on all purchases, and asked him to accept the small token. Xu Jingming politely accepted, thanking the manager. Soon after, a female employee delivered the final inventory report. She stated they had counted a total of 89 high-tier, 107 mid-tier, and 221 low-tier Tier 2 beast materials. The staggering numbers left the manager inwardly stunned, wondering if Xu Jingming had single-handedly wiped out an entire beast lair. Turning back to his client, the manager presented the final valuation totaling just over $24.76 million. He offered to round the payment up to $25 million, an offer Xu Jingming graciously accepted. A moment later, Xu Jingming received a notification on his phone confirming the deposit, bringing his new bank balance to over $29 million. He smiled, realizing he had become incredibly rich overnight. As he prepared to leave, manager Xiaoyi gave him his business card, inviting him for tea sometime. Xu Jingming politely agreed and left. The manager watched him go, thinking the young man had a future with limitless potential. Just as Xu Jingming departed, the manager's phone began to ring. He answered, and the caller was revealed to be Xiao Chunlin. From a hospital bed, heavily bandaged and in a wheelchair, the enraged merchant yelled into the phone that he had seen the person who attacked him return to the base and furiously demanded that the manager help him get revenge. The manager, now revealed to be Xiao Chunlin's powerful contact, calmly asked if he was referring to the high-level first-tier user and inquired how he wanted to proceed. Xiao Chunlin furiously demanded that he dispatch the Tiger Shark squad to make Xu Jingming's life a living hell. The manager agreed to lend him the elite squad but made one condition clear. After this, their association was over. Xiao Chunlin accepted the terms, vowing to leave the city as soon as his revenge was complete. After ending the call, manager Xiao felt a sudden sense of unease. He tried to dismiss it as paranoia, reassuring himself that the Tiger Shark squad was an elite team of Tier 2 users and should have no trouble dealing with a single first-tier opponent. Meanwhile, as Xu Jingming walked through the streets of the supply base, he suddenly let out a loud sneeze. He rubbed his nose, wondering what that was about and if someone was just talking bad about him somewhere. Manager Xiao spoke enthusiastically to his superior, base chief manager Wang Chuang, reporting on a new ability user, Xu Jingming. He stressed that the user's collected beast materials exceeded the combined total of a dozen other teams. Hearing the name, Wang Chuang checked the records and his eyes reportedly widened in surprise. He urgently called back, instructing Xiao that Xu Jingming was extremely important and must be notified immediately upon his return. Xiao agreed, wondering about the young man's powerful background and feeling relieved he had treated him respectfully. Meanwhile, Wang Chuang recognized Xu Jingming as another disciple of the famed Yang Genshin, noting his talent surpassed a senior student. He concluded that Xu Jingming was a prodigy who must not be offended. Elsewhere, Xu Jingming walked through the commercial streets, dismayed to find basic spatial storage rings costing over 10 million. He found the convenience appealing and considered the cost of a larger one for his spear. His thoughts were interrupted by a call from his roommate, Liu Wentao, asking when he'd return to the university. Xu Jingming said he would be back in about half a month and asked if anything was wrong. Unbeknownst to him, a vengeful Xiao Chunlin and the mercenary Tiger Shark squad were watching from a hidden alley. The squad leader ordered them to break Xu Jingming's hands and feet and bring him to Xiao Chunlin. As Xu Jingming continued his call, he paused, sensing hostile gazes. He calmly told Liu Wentao it was nothing and proceeded into a deserted alley where the Tiger Shark squad was waiting. The leader signaled their position and ordered a member, Hiji, to analyze the target's strength. Another member remarked that the captain was too cautious about a single upper first-rank user. Using her psychic ability, Hiji scanned him, and her expression turned to shock, exclaiming the reading was impossible. Sensing something was amiss, the captain asked what was wrong. Hiji shared her psychic perception, revealing their auras as small flickers while Xu Jingming's was a colossal vortex of immense purple power. The team was horrified, realizing his power was far stronger than an upper second-rank user and he could easily destroy them. The leader's face twisted in fury, realizing Xiao Chunlin had sent them on a suicide mission. He immediately aborted the operation, ordering a retreat and vowing to settle the score with Xiao Chunlin. From the alley, Xu Jingming watched the squad suddenly vanish, confused by their withdrawal. He quickly deduced the failed revenge attempt was orchestrated by Xiao Chunlin, dismissing the incident and thinking he would teach him a lesson next time. The enraged Tiger Shark squad returned to Xiao Chunlin. The squad leader powerfully slapped the merchant across the face, sending him flying from his wheelchair. Stunned and in pain, Xiao Chunlin demanded to know why he was attacked. The leader yelled with contempt that Xiao Chunlin's faulty intel was a death trap, revealing the target was a powerful upper second rank. Xiao Chunlin was speechless, unable to grasp Xu Jingming's rapid power growth. The squad leader, his face cold with disgust, terminated the mission, leaving Xiao Chunlin broken on the ground as they departed. The leader then reported to manager Xiao, who was surprised by their early return. The mission was terminated, the leader confirmed, explaining Xiao Chunlin's intelligence was wrong. The target was an upper second rank user, or worse, his scanner showed at least third-rank combat strength. Manager Xiao Yi was enraged by Jiao Chunlin's huge mistake. Dread dawned on him as he asked for the target's name. The leader gave the physical description: a muscular man about 1.9 m tall with a long spear. The description clicked, and Manager Xiao Yi's face turned pale with horror as he realized the target's identity. The scene cut to Manager Wang Chuang's office. Wang Chuang slammed his hands on his desk, yelling at Xiao Yi, demanding to know who gave him the audacity to ambush Xu Jingming. A terrified Xiao Yi questioned if such a strong reaction was necessary for an upper second-rank kid. Manager Wang Chuang called him a fool and projected Xu Jingming's records. The horrifying reality hit Xiao Yi. The file confirmed an 18-year-old upper second-rank user, top scholar, and a freshman at Madu Superpower University. The most damning detail was his mentor, the legendary Yang Genshin. Wang Chuang grimly asked if he understood, explaining a master like Yang Genshin could level the base without state repercussions. Overcome with fear, spikes erupting from his back, Manager Xiao Yi bowed and promised to handle the situation. On Wang Chuang's orders, 2 guards dragged in the battered Xiao Chunlin. The terrified merchant was thrown to the floor, begging for his life. Manager Xiao Yi, his face cold, declared that the ringleader must be executed, saying Xiao Chunlin had only himself to blame. Without another word, he snapped the merchant's neck, executing him on the spot. In Wang Chuang's office, Xiao Yi looked on nervously, but the base chief manager was not satisfied. He coldly asked if Xiao Yi believed that was enough to appease someone like Xu Jingming. Wang Chuang declared this mistake was too great, and everyone involved, including the Tiger Shark Squad, must be severely punished. This punishment was necessary to ensure no rumors spread, leaving a horrified Xiao Yi only able to watch. The scene shifted to the adventurers' hall entrance. The base's top management had gathered in a formal line. A crowd, including Xiao Chen and her team, observed, recognizing Manager Wang Chuang and all department heads. They guessed such an impressive lineup must be for someone very important. Just then, a teammate spotted Xu Jingming, the young man from Madu Superpower University. Xu Jingming, returning from his errands, looked on, confused by the entire management team's presence. The man at the front stepped forward, warmly welcoming student Xu. He introduced himself as the base chief manager, Wang Lun. Seeing the base's highest authority personally greeting him shocked Xiao Chan and her friends, revealing more to the young man's identity. Manager Wang Lun offered a formal apology, informing Xu Jingming that Jiao Chunlin had been punished, and all accomplices had been rounded up to spend their lives in prison. To make amends, the manager explained that the base had prepared reparations. Xu Jingming was impressed, thinking the chief manager certainly handled matters cleanly and decisively. A female attendant presented Xu Jingming with the base's highest-level black gold membership card, which granted him free lodging and a minimum 20% discount on all purchases. Another attendant then presented a second gift, a small box containing a 1 cubic meter space ring. The incredible value of this gift left Xu Jingming completely stunned as he realized what he was being offered. Holding the special ring, Xu Jingming knew its immense worth, saying it would fetch at least 50 million on the open market. He accepted the gift, understanding Manager Chuang's true kindness. Manager Chuang then praised Xu Jingming's brave spirit, saying it was just what he'd expect from one of Yang Genshin's students. He also mentioned that Xu Jingming's older fellow student Liu Ming had trained at this very place too. As Xu Jingming prepared to leave, Manager Chuang gave him one last promise. If he ever faced any trouble in the city, he should reach out, as the manager held great power there. Xu Jingming knew this special treatment came only because of his master's strong name. Later, in the fancy room that came with his new top-tier membership, he finally felt himself relax. A whole month of tough training had ended, and he was very thankful for this quiet rest. He decided to make the space ring his own, which meant putting a part of his spirit into it. Because his spirit was much stronger than others at his level, he finished the task very easily. Once the ring was bound, he tested it out. He found he could pull things from inside with just a thought and put them back with a simple touch. It was very easy to use. Even though the ring couldn't hold living creatures, he still found it incredibly handy. Just as he was enjoying his break, a call came through from his master, Yang Genshin. Xu Jingming told his master he had just come back from the wild lands and had something important to share. When Yang Genshin heard that someone had sent fighters to attack his student, he became incredibly angry. Over the phone, Yang Genshin roared that a simple space ring was not enough payment for trying to kill his student. He even threatened to destroy the base if anything bad had happened to Xu Jingming. After he calmed down a little, Yang Genshin asked why the best fighters had run away. Xu Jingming thought they must have realized he was much stronger than they expected, seeing him as a very high-level fighter, which made them turn back. This news left Yang Genshin completely silent. Then he shouted into the phone in utter disbelief, "You reached that level in just 1 month." His master's surprise quickly turned into a proud laugh. He praised Xu Jingming, saying his progress was even faster than his own had been. Then, he eagerly asked when Xu Jingming would return so they could celebrate. Xu Jingming told him he would be back right before school started. He planned to use the rest of his time to explore even more risky places. His master warned him to be careful, and Xu Jingming promised he would be. After the call ended, Yang Genshin was still glowing with happiness. His helper Uncle Fu commented, "It's been a long time since I've seen you so pleased." The dean couldn't stop thinking about Xu Jingming's amazing speed of improvement. He mused that life-or-death situations, which push others to grow, seemed to act like a special power-up for his gifted student, making him stronger at an unbelievable pace. Sticking to his plan, Xu Jingming headed deep into the forest mountain range, a much harder part of the wild lands. As he walked, the air around him was full of the loud roars of fierce animals. He quickly noticed that this area seemed to have far more valuable things than the broken city he had explored before. His sharp senses picked up danger just as his boot snapped a small branch, letting his enemy know where he was. All at once, unseen slashes of energy cut through the air, heading straight for him. Moving unbelievably fast, Xu Jingming ducked out of the way of the attack. The energy blasts barely missed him, instead slicing deep into the trees behind. Then the attacker showed itself, a huge, fierce Gale Dreadwolf. Xu Jingming calmly studied it. He guessed that most powerful beasts like this had special powers. He could tell this wolf used wind and was likely a medium-strength third-rank creature. He wondered how many power points he would get for defeating it. Just as Xu Jingming was getting ready to fight the beast, he felt another group of people coming closer. It was the famous internet personality, Jiang Chusuan, along with her guards and a person filming. One of her men pointed at the Gale Dreadwolf, saying it would be perfect for Miss Chusuan to defeat while the camera was rolling. The team leader told his man to stop the wolf from running away, wanting to claim the creature for themselves. Xu Jingming watched, thinking they were trying to steal his prey, which went against the rules of the wild lands, where the first one to find something owned it. However, Jiang Chusuan quickly showed she didn't agree. She said she didn't like taking someone else's catch just to film for her show. The leader tried to make it sound like they were saving someone, like a heroic act for their broadcast. But Jiang Chusuan wasn't fooled. She said she didn't need made-up praise and pointed out that Xu Jingming looked calm and strong, clearly not needing any help. Listening to her wishes, the team leader grumbled under his breath but agreed to find another creature. He then told his team to leave the area. Xu Jingming watched them walk away. He thought Jiang Chusuan seemed surprisingly kind for someone so famous online. Yet he also noticed that the team leader didn't seem to have much control. He pushed that thought aside and turned his mind back to his hunt. The Gale Dreadwolf, angry that Xu Jingming hadn't run away, lunged forward in a fierce attack. But Xu Jingming remained calm, easily dodging the beast's charge. The wolf's attack threw Xu Jingming off balance for a moment. This only made the beast angrier, furious that its prey wasn't taking it seriously. But Xu Jingming quickly regained his footing and struck back. Filling his spear with lightning power, he brought it down with huge force, pushing the sparking tip deep into the beast's head. The beast fell to the ground. A message popped up, telling him he had made the kill and earned 34 power points. Xu Jingming thought about the reward, pleased that getting over 30 points from just one powerful beast was quite good. With a small smile, he looked forward to the last 10 days of his trip, keen to hunt as many creatures as he could. 7 days went by and Xu Jingming's hunt carried on. He found a group of large, ape-like beasts who suddenly looked up, startled by a bright flash of light from the sky. He then used a strong long-range attack, a huge spear of pure energy that shot down from the sky and hit the ground, causing a mighty explosion. The blast left a deep hole in the earth, with one ape-like creature lying badly hurt inside it. Xu Jingming was surprised that his powerful Thunder Spear attack hadn't killed the leader at once. He realized that, as expected from a top third-rank beast, it was very tough. With a dangerous look, purple lightning dancing around him, he decided not to waste time on the smaller creatures. He would end them all quickly. He charged into the rest of the group, his body now covered in bright lightning. He moved so fast he was almost a blur, dodging their attacks and striking them down with his spear one by one. Standing over the fallen ape-like beasts, Xu Jingming's hunt in this part of the wild was a great success. He checked his system screen, a happy smile spreading across his face as he saw he had gathered over 3,000 power points. He thought this amount should be enough to finally learn the mighty S-rank fighting skills he had been looking forward to for so long. Just as he was about to move on, his smart watch beeped, showing a flashing call for help in the air. Far away, Jiang Chusuan was running for her life, jumping through the trees at an amazing speed. A huge, armored dragon-like beast was chasing her closely. In her panicked mind, she thought about how her team had been broken up by a powerful creature. And in all the confusion, she had run into another enemy, a smaller, third-rank dragon that dug through the ground. She knew any creature linked to dragons was very dangerous. As a mid-level second-rank fighter herself, she understood she had no hope of winning, not even with a power-up pill. Her only hope was that another super-strong person would see her call for help and come to save her. Her situation grew even worse when she burst out of the thick forest into a wide-open space. She felt a terrible sense of dread, knowing that without trees to hide behind, the beast would surely catch her. Just as she had feared, the creature moved in, trapping her with nowhere to go. Right as the beast was about to strike, a huge spear made of pure purple lightning shot down from the sky. It hit the ground right in front of the creature, stopping its attack dead. Xu Jingming appeared in a flash of lightning, standing guard between her and the surprised beast. Jiang Chusuan stared in complete shock, instantly knowing who her rescuer was. Jiang Chusuan's heart pounded as she watched him hold his position. "Run," she cried, her voice urgent. "It's a low-tier third-rank ground-digging dragon, you can't possibly defeat it." But Xu Jingming paid her frantic warnings no mind. With an unnerving calm, he planted his spear firmly into the earth, his gaze unwavering as he stared down the approaching beast, leaving Jiang Chusuan utterly stunned. A wave of frustration washed over her at his stubborn refusal. A terrible sense of responsibility settled in her gut. Dying alone was one thing, but to be the cause of an innocent person's death, she couldn't bear the thought. Making a desperate, selfless choice, she bolted past him. "Run!" she screamed, her voice hoarse, determined to hold off the monstrous creature herself to give him a chance to escape. The ground-digging dragon unleashed a deafening roar, its massive form surging forward, charging at them both. Jiang Chusuan braced herself, steeling her resolve for the fight to come. Yet before she could even make a move, a surge of overwhelming power erupted from directly behind her. Xu Jingming had summoned a colossal spear, crackling with raw lightning energy. With incredible force, he hurled it, a shimmering arc of pure power directly over her head and towards the rapidly approaching beast. She could only watch, speechless, as it flew. The spear of pure energy descended with terrifying velocity, a blinding flash. It struck the ground-digging dragon's armored head with pinpoint precision, piercing through it in a catastrophic explosion of purple lightning and grotesque, splattering gore. With a final, sickening thud, the colossal creature crumpled to the earth, its head utterly obliterated. Jiang Chusuan sank to her knees, completely overwhelmed by disbelief. Her words caught in her throat as she stammered, unable to comprehend how such a fearsome beast had been annihilated in a single, instantaneous strike. She slowly looked up at Xu Jingming, her mind reeling from the sheer, terrifying power he possessed. The sonic boom she'd heard earlier, the one that had sent shivers down her spine, it had been him asterisk. How could someone supposedly only an upper-tier second-rank user wield such immense strength? A subtle notification flashed in Xu Jingming's vision, confirming the kill and awarding him 36 ability points. A faint smirk played on his lips. Dragon in the name, as expected, meant a greater bounty of points than a standard beast of its rank. With the battle concluded, Xu Jingming approached Jiang Chusuan, who remained kneeling on the ground, visibly shaken. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. "I'm fine," she replied, a faint tremor in her voice, just a bit weak in the knees. "Thank you for saving me." He dismissed her gratitude with a modest wave, suggesting anyone would have acted similarly, and then offered her a steady hand to help her stand. Once on her feet, Jiang Chusuan declared, her voice filled with earnestness, that she owed him a profound debt for saving her life. She assured him he could ask for anything in the future. Xu Jingming politely declined any grand favors, but then offered a surprising alternative. An autographed photo for his roommate would be the best reward. Though taken aback, Jiang Chusuan readily agreed, explaining she didn't have one on her but could provide it once they reached the supply base. Her gaze then fell upon his weapon. A flicker of recognition crossed her face. "The Dark Cloud Gale's spear," she exclaimed. "Are you a student at Madu University?" He confirmed her suspicion, adding that the formidable weapon was a gift from his master. Jiang Chusuan explained that the spear was legendary for its immense weight, requiring an exceptionally powerful user to wield it. She then introduced herself as a second-year student from the elementary academy, naturally assuming Xu Jingming, given his prowess, was a senior, and addressed him as such. Xu Jingming understood her assumption. Few students achieved his current power level before their third year. He chose not to correct her, letting the misunderstanding stand. Still lost in awe, Jiang Chusuan continued to marvel at his ability to instantly fell a strong upper-tier third-rank creature. Just as he began to prepare for departure, she called out, stopping him in his tracks. A faint blush crept across her cheeks as she shyly asked if she could travel alongside him for a while. She explained her predicament. Separated from her bodyguards, she couldn't hope to survive the wilderness alone. Xu Jingming readily agreed, offering to escort her to the nearest ruined city, a point from which she could safely return. A relieved smile blossomed on her face as she thanked him profusely. As they set off, she suggested checking the beast's cave for valuable items, theorizing that its treasures were likely why it had attacked her. Xu Jingming conceded it was worth investigating. En route, she inquired about his academy. When he revealed he was from the Weaponry Academy, she remarked that their dean, Yang Genshin, was rumored to have quite the fierce nickname. Xu Jingming calmly responded, revealing that the dean was, in fact, his own master. This revelation left Jiang Chusuan thoroughly flustered and mortified. She immediately began to apologize profusely for inadvertently speaking ill of his respected teacher. Xu Jingming found himself somewhat taken aback. For someone reputed to be a cold, aloof online ice goddess, she was proving to be quite a chatterbox in person. Jiang Chusuan led him towards a shadowy, rocky cavern, the very lair of the ground-digging dragon. Inside the mouth of the cave, he cautioned her to remain behind him, unsure of what dangers might lurk within the depths. She readily agreed, following closely as he advanced, his spear tip crackling with a soft, protective aura of lightning. Their initial caution, however, soon gave way to sheer amazement. Deeper within the cavern, they stumbled upon a hidden oasis, a small, pristine spring of clear, turquoise water, encircled by a flourishing garden of rare, fragrant flowers. Xu Jingming was utterly stunned, his trained eye immediately identifying several high-grade medicinal herbs among the vibrant flora. His shock intensified as Jiang Chusuan, her voice hushed with reverence, revealed the true nature of the spring. An S-grade earth spirit spring, a legendary healing treasure of immense power. He turned to her, disbelief etched on his face. "Are you certain?" he pressed. She confirmed it with a nod, explaining that the spring's potent essence nourished the surrounding vegetation, transforming common plants into rare and powerful herbs. Xu Jingming found himself deeply impressed by her extensive knowledge. With a touch of pride, she then revealed her certification as a second-grade pharmacist, a demanding qualification he knew was exceedingly difficult to attain. After carefully assessing their remarkable find, Jiang Chusuan estimated there was enough spring water to yield at least 5 portions of S-grade healing liquid. As a gesture of profound gratitude for saving her life, she selflessly offered the entire treasure to him. Xu Jingming, however, proposed what he considered a fairer deal. He suggested they divide the spring water, with him taking 4 parts to her 1 and splitting the valuable herbs equally. Delighted by his unexpected generosity, she happily accepted. As Xu Jingming and Jiang Chusuan were in the midst of dividing their extraordinary findings, a new presence emerged. Jiang Chusuan's team of bodyguards appeared at the cave entrance. One man voiced his skepticism, wondering aloud what could possibly be valuable within such an unguarded cavern. The team leader quickly corrected his subordinate, pointing out the clear traces indicating this was the lair of a third-rank ground-digging dragon, and that dragon nests frequently concealed rare and precious treasures. As the bodyguards stepped inside, they were surprised to discover Jiang Chusuan and Xu Jingming already there. Jiang Chusuan flinched at their sudden appearance, a chilling worry forming in her mind. If this elite team of third-rank users discovered the S-grade spring, trouble would surely follow. The team leader greeted her with a relieved nod, explaining they had been searching for her. His gaze then shifted, curiously acknowledging Xu Jingming's presence. Thinking quickly, Jiang Chusuan explained that Xu Jingming was a senior from her school whom she had only just met. She then gestured towards the gathered herbs, suggesting that since they were of such high quality, perhaps everyone should share. The leader's lips curved into a smirk as he seemed to accept her offer, but then a subordinate urgently whispered in his ear, revealing that the spring before them appeared to be the legendary S-grade Earth Spirit Spring, a treasure beyond all price. The subordinate's revelation instantly shattered the veneer of pleasantries, transforming the atmosphere. The bodyguards' eyes began to glow with a chilling red avarice as the immense value of their discovery truly sank in. Both Xu Jingming and Jiang Chusuan acutely sensed the immediate and dangerous shift in the bodyguard's demeanor. The leader's friendly facade evaporated, replaced by a menacing grin as he remarked, his voice laced with venom, that Jiang Chusuan didn't seem to be entirely honest. Understanding the dire peril they were in, Jiang Chusuan quickly decided to surrender the treasure. "You can have everything," she declared, attempting to pull Xu Jingming away from the escalating tension. When he remained unmoving, she urgently whispered, her voice tight with panic, that the bodyguards were all peak third-rank users. They stood no chance. Yet Xu Jingming calmly replied that he didn't consider himself any weaker than them. He then added a chilling truth. Even if they relinquished the treasure, the bodyguards wouldn't let them leave alive. The horrifying realization of his words settled upon her, confirming their grim fate. The team leader let out a chilling laugh, confirming Xu Jingming's grim assessment. He admitted that while the boys' tone was arrogant, his perception of their intentions was entirely accurate. He then laid bare their ruthless logic. Jiang Chusuan was famous. If they allowed her to leave, she could expose them online, ruining their careers. Therefore, he concluded with cold finality, it was far safer to simply kill them both and ensure the secret of the cave remained buried forever. Refusing to be a mere liability, Jiang Chusuan made a difficult, desperate choice. With grim resolve, she pulled out a crimson, power-enhancing blood-burst pill and swallowed it whole. Her determination was absolute. She would fight alongside her rescuer no matter the cost. The pill's effect was instantaneous, sending her A-rank ice superpower surging violently through her veins. With a raw cry, she unleashed her amplified power, a wave of frost erupting from her and spreading across the ground, instantly beginning to freeze the bodyguard's feet. Unfazed by this sudden turn, the team leader merely smirked, barking orders to his men. He singled out one, Zhou Chang, instructing him to deal with Xu Jingming, whom he mockingly referred to as Jiang Chusuan's lover, while the rest were commanded to secure the cave entrance. With his plan set, the leader's predatory gaze now fixated on Jiang Chusuan. His body contorted, his C-rank ability manifesting as he transformed into a massive, ferocious saber-toothed tiger. A menacing snarl ripped from his maw, declaring her life would end this very day. His men, reflecting their leader's monstrous nature, chimed in with cruel, lewd remarks, suggesting they record everything before her demise, revealing the true beasts lurking beneath their human skin. Despair threatened to consume Jiang Chusuan. Horrified to be facing such depravity, she couldn't accept dying in this wretched place, her greatest regret being that she had dragged Xu Jingming into this fatal situation. She spun, desperate to warn him, only to be utterly shocked by what she saw. In a sudden, blinding flash, the tide of battle turned. The tiger-transformed leader's eyes widened, sensing an impossible movement. Before anyone could react, Xu Jingming appeared behind Zhou Chang, his spear already piercing the man's chest. The bodyguard collapsed, defeated in an instant. Xu Jingming looked down at his fallen foe with an icy gaze, remarking coldly that even a third-tier fighter posed little threat. The leader was left speechless, stunned by Xu Jingming's incredible speed. He struggled to comprehend how his mid-tier, third-rank subordinate could be taken down with such effortless ease. A grim realization etched itself onto his face. He had gravely misjudged the situation. Xu Jingming was the true danger. Roaring with fury, the leader unleashed his own counterattack, swinging his massive axe in a devastating tiger roar slash. Yet Xu Jingming effortlessly dodged the powerful blow, his form a mere blur of shimmering purple lightning. Even as he moved, Xu Jingming analyzed his opponent's strength. He concluded that the peak third-tier captain's raw power vastly outstripped his own, realizing he could no longer afford to hold back. The tiger-transformed leader and his men were left utterly confused by Xu Jingming's display of power. Knowing he faced a far stronger opponent than anticipated, Xu Jingming decided to unleash a hidden power, activating his Thunder Extreme mode. A massive, violent surge of raw purple lightning erupted from him, tearing his shirt to shreds and revealing a newly muscular, formidable physique. Jiang Chusuan could only watch in stunned silence, her face a complex mix of awe and profound concern. The sheer force of this transformation shocked the tiger leader, who stared at the dark, swirling energy. Wondering what kind of monster Xu Jingming truly was, his appearance dramatically altered. His eyes now glowed with a piercing blue, slitted pupils marking them. And completing his terrifying new form, two large, demonic horns sprouted from his head. He reveled in the incredible surge of power, finding the sensation truly amazing. After a moment of profound shock, the leader quickly dismissed the change, convincing himself it was merely a special mode designed for intimidation. Regaining his false confidence, he prepared to attack once more. With a ferocious, almost primal grin, Xu Jingming rushed forward to meet him. The two warriors clashed violently, the leader employing a defensive skill called Lying Tiger Stone. Certain his reinforced armor could withstand any attack from a supposedly lower-rank user. However, he was proven fatally wrong as Xu Jingming's own Lightning Gale Slash connected with his weapon. The force of Xu Jingming's attack was utterly overwhelming, shattering the leader's powerful armor to pieces. The impact sent the massive Tiger Man flying backward, completely defeated. Xu Jingming stood confidently in his transformed state, declaring his body was now 3 to 4 times stronger, a level of power the leader's tough, beast-like hide could never withstand. But the battle was not over. With their leader defeated, another bodyguard lunged at Xu Jingming, unleashing a powerful B-rank skill, the Flame Claw. Even in his transformed state, Xu Jingming's control was absolute. He effortlessly blocked the fiery assault with a surge of his own lightning. The bodyguard was left in utter disbelief, unable to comprehend how his advanced technique could be so easily countered by a supposedly lower-ranked opponent. Xu Jingming stood over the now-defeated bodyguard, acknowledging his opponent's resilience as expected from a peak third-tier fighter, but declared he would end the fight with one final blow. Terrified, the man begged for his life, desperately offering Xu Jingming the Earth Spirit Spring and all his life savings. Xu Jingming coldly dismissed his plea, stating it was far too late for begging. Jiang Chusuan watched the brutal scene unfold, her mind reeling in disbelief. The team she had hired, which had cost a fortune and whose captain was rumored to be invincible, had been utterly dismantled. She had never heard of any student from her university with such a formidable record, leading her to wonder if his ability might even be S-rank. With the others defeated, Xu Jingming turned his attention to the remaining bodyguards. In his transformed state, he felt the violent, bloodthirsty urges from his Thunder Tyrannosaurus blood resurfacing. He menacingly told the two remaining men it was now their turn. They were frozen in terror, branding him a demon. Xu Jingming scoffed, retorting that compared to murderers like them, he considered himself far more human. Realizing they were hopelessly outmatched, the remaining men made a desperate final stand. On their leader's last command, they all consumed their own blood-burst pills, preparing to fight to the death. The battle that followed was swift and brutally decisive. The scene cut to the aftermath. Xu Jingming, now back in his normal form but shirtless, stood victorious amidst the defeated bodies of the entire team. The immense power of his Thunder Extreme mode had taken its toll. He leaned against a rock wall, breathing heavily and completely exhausted. He reflected that while his transformation was incredibly powerful, the energy drain was severe. Using it for just over 10 minutes, he realized, was more draining than fighting for several hours. After the intense battle, a concerned Jiang Chusuan rushed to Xu Jingming's side, asking if he was all right. Despite his exhaustion, he reassured her that he was fine and suggested they collect the valuable spring water and herbs before finally resting. Standing by the pristine spring, Jiang Chusuan expressed her immense relief that the bloody fight had not contaminated the precious resource. They then proceeded to carefully fill several glass bottles with the potent water from the Earth Spirit Spring. After they finished, Xu Jingming noted they had collected even more than they had estimated. He handed 1.5 bottles to Jiang Chusuan, insisting she take them as her share, acknowledging that she too had fought hard. Overjoyed by his unexpected generosity, she thanked him enthusiastically. However, their moment of relief was abruptly cut short. Suddenly, Jiang Chusuan stumbled and cried out in agony. She collapsed forward against Xu Jingming, realizing with dread that the severe side effects of the blood-burst pill she had taken earlier were finally kicking in.